that has nearly happened 100 times, so I understand that you believe that one. So there we go. Crazy.
My gosh, Bobby, you know what? I think you just gave me the perfect idea for my 25th birthday.
You got to jump out of a cake?
Jump out of a life-size cake, yeah. Sounds like a queen.
I'll see if I can get one for you. Oh, thank you, Patricia and Lulu. That does bring us to the end of the show for this week. A massive thank you to my co-hosts from the national newspaper in Papua New Guinea. Thank you, Patricia Kiamo.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Hope to join you again later this month.
Of course. And Lulu Laros, producer and presenter at NBC PNG. Thank you, Lulu.
Yes, thank you so much, Bobby and Patricia. Thank you to have been part of the show with you guys.
Oh, love having you both on the show. Thank you to our producer, Declan Byrne, to Stan Sport for the audio used in today's episode, and of course to you for listening to Fresh Off the Field, the sporting pulse of the Pacific, right here on ABC Radio Australia. I will be back next week with 2 new co-hosts from across the Pacific talking all things sport in our region. This episode was produced on the lands of the Kaurna people and the Gadigal people.
This program has been funded by the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade.
ABC News with Mary McDonald. Good afternoon. A major police investigation is underway in Perth South after police shot dead a teenager who stabbed a member of the public. Police received an emergency call just after 10 p.m. from a teenager saying he was going to commit acts of violence. Police rushed to a Bunnings car park in Willetton after a second call was received and say a 16-year-old lunged at officers with a kitchen knife. He was fatally shot by an officer. Another man was found at the scene with stab wounds to his back. WA Premier Roger Cook has told a press conference that police are working to confirm a motive.
There are indications he had been radicalised online, but I want to reassure the community. At this stage, it appears that he acted solely and alone.
And Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has been briefed on the incident by the domestic spy agency ASIO and the Federal Police. He says there is no ongoing threat to the community. Mr Albanese says violent extremism has no place in Australia and his thoughts are with those affected by the incident. Homicide detectives are investigating the death of a man in Melbourne's southeast this morning. Cyan Valence reports from the scene.
One man has died, another has been rushed to hospital and 2 more are on the run after a violent incident in Ormond in Melbourne's southeast. The alarm was raised around 1 o'clock this morning. Emergency services went to the home on North Road, but one man couldn't be saved. This morning there's blood on the street outside the house along with pieces of luggage thrown across the driveway. Detectives and forensics have spent the morning combing the scene. Police say the men are known to each other. Anyone with information is being asked to call Crime Stoppers.
Authorities and volunteers continue to scour bushland as part of a week-long search for a missing man in Melbourne's Outer East. 22-year-old Callista man Zachary was last seen near his home on April the 28th, and it's believed he went walking barefoot in the Sherbrooke Forest the day after. CFA crews have joined the search efforts today alongside police, SES and friends and family. Acting Senior Sergeant Luke Schroeder says the local community is rallying to find Zach.
Fairly well known around the area. There's staff at the cafes and restaurants here at Brandview who are obviously very concerned for his welfare, so they're also joining in the search or supporting in other ways where they can.
Premier Jacinta Allen has given her strongest comments yet that Tuesday's state budget will provide relief for struggling Victorians. So far, the state government has refused to go into details about the contents of the budget, saying Victorians will have to wait until the Treasurer hands it down. However, Ms Allen has today confirmed there will be measures in place to address cost pressures for households and businesses.
In framing Tuesday's budget, we could have taken the approach, and we're not taking this approach, to put our head in the sand. We can't ignore the pressures of the pandemic, the global pressures, the interest rate rises pressures, the inflationary pressures. We can't ignore the impact that those are having on households and businesses.
The Federal Minister for Women says just 30 domestic violence support workers have been employed out of a commitment to fill 350 positions by mid-year. Last year, the federal government announced it would provide $169 million over 4 years to fund 500 new frontline workers to assist people who had experienced family, domestic or sexual violence. Katie Gallagher says the states are responsible for ensuring workers are hired.
Well, not as many as we would like. I think the last numbers I saw was around 30. We've made the payments I think, last June and at the end of last year. So the money is there. I think the state's view is they're having issues with recruiting.
Forensic testing is being carried out on human remains discovered near where two Australian brothers and their American friend went missing. Ali Crew reports.
Authorities in Mexico say bodies found in Baja California very likely belong to Perth brothers Jake and Callum Robinson and their American friend Jack Carter Road, who haven't been seen since April 27. They disappeared while on a surf trip south of the city of Ensenada. 4 bodies have been found in a well near their burnt-out campsite, and officials say they have strong evidence 3 of them belong to the missing men, but they're yet to be formally identified. Police say the 4th body had been there for some time and doesn't appear to be connected to the case.
To sport, and a Melbourne derby will decide who makes it through to the men's A-League soccer semi-finals, with victory to play City in an elimination final at Amy Park. It'll be the first time in 9 years that the two sides have faced off in a final. To the weather now. For the state, partly cloudy in the south with isolated light showers, more likely over the southwest and Gippsland. Dry and mostly sunny across the north. For Melbourne, a mostly sunny afternoon with a top today of 19 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 20. Right now in Melbourne, it's 15 degrees. ABC News.
All I've done is tell the truth.
What really happened after the party.
Years ago, I was wrongly accused.
Did you know he was coming back? He's my dad.
In critically acclaimed new drama from the producers of The Slab and The Secrets She Keeps.
You've had too much to drink. Whatever you saw, it wasn't that. Mom!
Old scars become new wounds.
You don't believe me? I do. I do believe you.
After the Party. Sunday nights on ABC TV or stream all episodes now on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
This is AFL Sunday with Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling. AFL Sunday on radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And take us with you on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
The thrilling finish continued in round 8 of the AFL. Bailey Fritsch bringing down the curtain with a statement 8-point win and handing Geelong their first loss of the season.
Henry makes the spoil. Petrarca misses Fritsch. Kicks into the right forward pocket. It bounces end over end. It stays in. Fritsch dribbles towards goal. Bailey Fritsch as he puts through his third and extends Melbourne's lead to 9 points. A dribble which would have Peter Dacos out of his chair once more.
The Bombers hang on in a thriller in the West. The resurgent Eagles came charging home with 3-1 in the final term, but a 7-point win has the Bombers just outside the top 4.
West Coast, one last roll of the dice. Fritsch kicks it towards half-forward. Sheed, Heppel, players diving in. The siren sounds. The Bombers hang on in a thriller. The fans wave the scarves. Out in the West, another hard stop of the Bombers fans, but this time they're victorious by 6 points.
The Kangaroos' winless start for the season continues as St Kilda snapped a 3-game losing streak and returned to the winners list by 38 points.
Young Darcy Wilson, already a rising star, really putting his talents on display. His third of the afternoon.
While Sydney claim bragging rights in a wet and wild battle of the bridge, moving to top spot on the AFL ladder, a 7-1 record following a 29-point win.
Warner, handball to Jordan, moved it on to Heaney, 40 out on the angle. Oh, Isaac! The Brownlow medal favourite with a beauty. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it.
Hello and welcome to AFL Sunday on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch with you. 3 games to close round 8 of the AFL. Richmond and Fremantle from the MCG. The Western Bulldogs and the Hawks from Docklands. And the Q-Clash between Brisbane and the Gold Coast Suns from the Gabba. As always, we love to hear from you on the SMS 0437 774 774. With your thoughts, there's so much to analyse, so much to debate across the weekend. And I have triple premiership player Geelong captain Cameron Ling with me again for another Sunday. Lingy, welcome to you. It feels like we say this regularly. What a weekend of footy.
Oh, great weekend of footy, Clinchy. Great to be with you again on this Sunday to pick apart some brilliant games. I mean, a huge win by the Swans in the big battle of the bridge against the Giants. Collingwood get the thrilling victory. Melbourne stopped Geelong's undefeated run. So many big results, not to mention the showdown that feels like ages ago now back on Thursday night, but that's a terrific win by the Crows. And obviously Port, post-match, no doubt reflecting a lot on the selection and some of the things that they did around their captain, Connor Rosie. So a brilliant, brilliant weekend of footy so far. We often start our show, Clinchy, on a Sunday with one of the highlights. And yes, I could have gone to any of those huge games, but I want to give a little bit of love to a guy I just noticed. I reckon he's got the spark back in his step for the Saints, Jack Sinclair. Now, sure, our listeners could say it was against North Melbourne, of course, but Sinclair was just superb. North Melbourne get out of the blocks pretty well, play some good footy. Then Sinclair lights up and 33 touches, 2 goals, 7 tackles, 8 clearances, 7 inside 50s. I felt like he's just been going this season a little bit. He hasn't quite got that run in his legs. Watching him yesterday, I thought, there's the All-Australian Jack Sinclair that I know and absolutely love watching. So, great game. And look for him to explode, I think, from this moment onwards in the season.
No, it's a good shout. If St Kilda are going to be a top 8 side, they need Jack Sinclair firing. I like it. The Melbourne coach, Simon Goodwin, is going to be our feature guest. I felt like I put you on the spot right from the outset, Lingy. Obviously, you heard the Bailey Fritsch goal in the opener. You were on the boundary last night. You're in the ABC commentary box on Friday night when Nick Dacos kicked the winner, so it felt like what better man to put on the spot than ask which one was better, because that's what we do in modern media. Of course, here was Nick Dacos' goal as called by Kelly.
Flicked back in. Cottrell had it, lost it. Chera had it, lost it. It's flicked out in front of Nick Dacos! 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 Dacos has done it! He's living every kid's dream!
Big games, big crowd, big occasion. Nick Dacos kicks the winner for Collingwood to prevail over Carlton in front of just under 90,000. Bailey Fritsch from the boundary against Geelong in front of just over 50,000. Both high-stakes games. So which one was better, Lingy, in your eyes?
Oh, Clinchy. Can I...
I've got him, guys.
Sit on the fence for 1 second and say both superb. I think for pure ridiculous skill, as good as that dribble is, running sort of towards the boundary but then snapping at an angle which really the ball shouldn't end up going through the goals with a snap running away like that. I'm going to give it by a nose to Nick Dacos. And, I mean, both brilliant. But I'll give it to Nick. Clinchy. And Melbourne fans listening right now, that's not because the Bailey Fritsch one knocked off the Cats, I promise you.
0437 774 774. It did pose the question to me, Lingy, as to we're now a third of the way through the AFL season. Who is the best player in the game? I chatted to Paul Roos on the new ABC AFL Daily podcast. Catherine Murphy's there from Monday to Friday. Quentin Hull on a Monday as well. And I posed to him whether Isaac Heaney was the best player in the competition at the moment. I'm just sort of starting to rethink that after a couple of key moments across the weekend. Who do you feel like is the most dominated player, given that Jeremy Cameron was pretty well held last night? He did have 2 crucial shots late, which maybe our opinions might have swayed had he kicked both of them.
Yeah, I think if you'd asked me yesterday, before that game, probably Jeremy Cameron would just be getting the nod. But it's funny how recency bias does take over a little bit. I don't think there is the one absolute title belt holder right now who's got it, and it is clear and almost unanimous. I think Dustin Martin for a number of years had that. I think Bontempelli's grabbed it at times. I reckon Jeremy Cameron's grabbed it at times. I reckon even Christian Petrarca's stuck his hand up at times. This is going to be full sitting on the fence, Clinchy. But I think it comes out of a group of Cameron, Jeremy, Bontempelli, Curnow, Heaney, Toby Green, probably Nick Dacos is still right there and Connor Rosie from Port Adelaide when he's flying. But, I mean, that leaves out some wonderful players who deservedly been there. On his day, when he's flying, when he's not kicking for goal like he did last night, I think Jeremy Cameron's versatility might still have his nose ahead, but it's not clear yet. Who have you got? Who's your number one?
No, I'm with Isaac Heaney. I was making the case with Paul Roos at 26 disposals, just under 27, 5 marks a game, averaging 1.6 goals a game, alongside 6 clearances and 5 inside 50s. And Paul Roos made the point that he was always a midfielder in the juniors coming through. It's been this set of circumstances for John Lomai that's allowed him to, I guess, play him in that position with the injuries to Callum Mills, to Luke Parker, who's still playing in the VFL. It's crazy to think on the battle of the bridge that took place over the weekend. And that's with Chad Warner, James Rowbottom in the midfield. So it is a stacked midfield. But I think this is the best version of Isaac Heaney we've seen.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I've been one of those as well who've been pleading for him to get into the midfield because I think he's so dynamic and almost that forward half midfielder as well. It's funny, isn't it? We talk about, and we often look at possessions, and quite rightly so, because players need to have hands on the ball. We look at impact like goals and things like that. But for pure influence on games, the big ruckman from last night, Maxi Gawn, still has a monster influence on his team's performance, on games. I mean, just superb in the ruck and strong everywhere. But moments where you go back and nail a goal from outside 50 in a low-scoring game, and you could see every one of the Melbourne players, I reckon they all grew 2 inches when he nailed that one. They're like, right, let's do this. So for pure influence, there's still Maxi Gawn sitting in that group there, and we don't talk about him as much as some of the others.
No. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. This has come through very quickly. Zach Merritt surely deserves a nod after last night. That's from Anon. And Fran from Melbourne says, hi, gentlemen. I think last night's game is the best of the round so far, even better than the Pies win. Lingy, you were on the board. I had my doubts around the Pies. And Sean in Sydney, so which was the better win? Collingwood or Melbourne winning with last plays of the game, or the Swans clinically putting the Giants throughout the last quarter? They're all valid questions coming through on 0437 774 774.
The question about the Swans is still a really good one. That's the bit, like that, because they've been so good, and then to just... and clinical's the word. Just to torch the Giants, really, to take the game away from them. And we've been so excited about the way the Giants play. To see the Swans take them apart is really impressive. Yeah, it wasn't a thriller, so we don't quite get as carried away about it and thinking, oh, it came down to the last kick. It was just a brilliant performance. And it's... The Swans' journey's been funny. They make a grand final. Yes, they get belted in that grand final. Last year, their first half of the season was really up and down and struggling and spluttering a bit. But they charged home late in the season. And it's as though they've carried that form into a brilliant pre-season and are now absolutely flying. And you're right, we're almost always searching for that new other team. Can the Giants finally break through and get that win? Who else is going to come through and pinch that one? But the Swans are just always thereabouts playing great footy. But I think because of their midfield now, they've elevated to another level again. Brilliant win. It's a great text message.
The voice of Cameron Ling alongside Matt Clinch with you on AFL Sunday on ABC Sport. The Melbourne coach Simon Goodwin is about to join us. So what did last night's win mean for the Demons over Geelong? It was a thrilling contest. There were stages where we didn't have a goal in the second quarter. There were 14 consecutive behinds. But at the end of it, Lingy, what did you take away from Melbourne's perspective?
I took away Melbourne's ability to have the game on their terms. I reckon from start to finish, the greater majority of the game was played the way Melbourne wanted it to look. It was fierce around the contest. They were set up really well defensively. I know Simon Goodwin and the Demons, and we'll talk to him soon about it, had a real focus on slowing Geelong down and taking away that efficiency that Geelong has been really good at over the last few weeks, and in particular last week. And they were able to do that. It took some pretty daring passages of play by the Cats later in the game to finally get a bit of flow going, but it didn't happen too often. I thought Melbourne should walk away saying, okay, our game and the way we wanted it to look stands up against one of the very best teams in the competition. Yes, of course, they want to add other elements, scoring more heavily when they're in control of the game and taking their chances. I mean, they missed some opportunities in that second quarter when it was a goalless term. So they're layers that they need to add to their way of playing. But, Clinchy, I saw a team that had a clear plan and were able to execute it under enormous pressure against a really, really good team. It's a huge win. It's an important win, I think, for the Demons' belief too.
Melbourne able to do what no other side has managed to do so far this season, which is beat Geelong. The Melbourne coach Simon Goodwin joins you on ABC Sport. Goody, good morning to you, or good afternoon now. I imagine you wake up this morning with a smile on your face. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, no worries, Matt. Yeah, it's good to be on, and you certainly wake up with a bit of a smile on your face after a win like that. But it's all part of us building towards what we want to achieve as we go ahead in the year.
So how significant does it feel to you, a win that solidifies your spot in the top four against a fellow contender? How much belief and confidence does that give the group to what you're trying to build?
Obviously, we've got enormous respect for Geelong for a number of reasons in the way they go about their footy, but they test you out in all phases of the game. And, we went in with a clear plan in all those phases, and we knew we needed to be good in those. But I think with the ability to execute those is going to give us great belief in our game moving forward. We've still got things we've got to work on and grow and get better at, but we certainly know that, last night we were able to stand up against one of the best in the competition.
I'll put Lingy on the spot this morning. Goody, I'm going to put you as well. 5-14 to three-quarter time, 5 straight in the final term. It became a match of moments, and I'm interested which one kind of stuck in your memory the most. There was Caleb Windsor, there was Max Gawn's 60-metre bomb, there was Cozzy Pickett cutting through traffic, Harrison Petty's marking, Jake Lever's intercepting, Clayton Oliver's return to form, Bailey Fritsch's dribbler. I can keep going. Which one sort of stuck with you the most?
Yeah, it was one of those games where, for the first half, you didn't look like either team were going to take their chances, and then both teams had some unbelievable highlights in the second half. But, I certainly loved the way our skipper stood up, certainly late in the game, not only defensively, but obviously the slot a big goal at the start of the last quarter. And there was a period in the game when momentum had shifted, and at three-quarter time we needed to respond and see if we can get that, upper hand back in a half. And I thought, Max Gawn's goal from outside 50 certainly did that for us.
Goody, really appreciate you joining us today, and well done on the win last night. The Cats have been so efficient, and I think of last week in particular. I think 45 inside 50s, and they kick 100 and something points, 113 points. How were you able to slow them up? How were you able to reduce that efficiency so well last night?
Yeah, sort of the way we play, Lingy, we certainly knew that was an area of the game that we needed to be elite in. Ability to slow opposition up and defend the ground in a way that makes it really difficult for teams to score. And it's something that we've built over a 4 or 5 year period. And, if you watch Geelong play, they are elite at using the ball, with Myers and Close and Cameron and the guys getting forward of the ball. They are incredibly good at being efficient inside 50, and if they get the quality of entry that they need, they're going to impact the scoreboard. So it was really important for us to defend in a way that enabled us to do that. But at the same time, I thought some of our real fight to the death in our D50 was outstanding. And, it's a part of the game that we want to be good at. It's normally when you go and watch Melbourne, that's what you want to see. So, but we knew we needed to be elite at, and we were.
You spoke about Max Gawn and the influence he had. I love the little decisions that coaching and coaches make throughout a game, and the brave decisions. I look at them and see them as brave, in that Max Gawn was always going to be crucial, but you needed to get, I imagine, a few minutes rest into him in the last quarter and keep that run in his legs. How hard is that as a coach to say, okay, I would love Gawny just to stay on the ground and never ever come off, but I also need him fresh and jumping and strong, just to bring him off and put Jacob Van Rooyen into that ruck for a little bit. How much do you wrestle with that decision?
Oh, it's something we plan heading into the game. We need to make sure Max is at his best in the last quarter, and even earlier in the game, we were prepared to give Max, good stints on the bench just to make sure that he had that energy late in the game. Probably in years prior, we probably would have rucked him for whole of quarters, and we've just made a real conscious plan that that's not going to be the case. We need to share that load, and Jacob's done a terrific job in the ruck for us in the last 6 or 7 weeks. He's actually become quite a really handy second ruck, so we've got enormous trust in that. But I think you see with that management of Max, his ability to have impact late in the game is really important for us. And he was once again, in that last quarter, an incredibly important player as a leader for us, with full of energy.
And Goody, as you continue to try, and you mentioned about growing your game for where you ultimately want to get this team to and add those layers, the forward line, even in a low-scoring game, seemed to be functioning a bit better again. The form of Cozzy Pickett, Harry Petty's marking, how did you see that, and why was that able to come together last night, I suppose, is my question, when at times Harry's probably been a little off his best form? How were you able to bring him back to have a night like last night?
Yeah, look, we certainly like the way our forward line's evolving, and I think some of the ball movement that we've been able to work from the back half and through the middle of the ground certainly helping our forwards. But, we're starting to get a group of forwards that are really quite dynamic, and you speak about Harrison Petty in terms of his form. We were really happy with his game last week. He didn't have a huge impact, but he was so close to having a big game early for us, and if he grabbed his chances, he probably would have had 5 shots at goal last week. So to see that come out in his game this week with another good week of training. We're starting to evolve our front half of the ground with Daniel Turner, Harrison Petty, Jacob. They're all good players there and ground. So we feel like we're setting up in a way that can enable those guys to thrive. And it's going to take some time. They're all young, but that's part of our game that we're going to continue to evolve.
Melbourne coach Simon Goodwin is with you on ABC Sport. You mentioned Max Gawn. Is he one you're going to have to manage throughout the second half of the season? Goody, given the huge responsibility he carries on his own shoulders?
We're going to have to manage all our players. I think one of the things that you want to make sure you do as the year goes on is make sure you manage your list in a way that you're playing your best footy and you're growing your game at the back half of the year. So he's one player that we'll continue to manage both during the week, within games, and also look for those opportunities if possible to give him a full rest. But right now we're in a part of our year where we've been able to get a couple of good breaks on the back of some short turnarounds to manage him in a way that he's going to be at his full capacity at the moment.
Goody, just to jump in there, is that something you've learnt to be smarter about over the last 2 years, where you've had great home and away form, but obviously the finals haven't quite ended up like you've wanted them to, about nurturing that list through to be healthier come September?
Oh, there's no doubt that's a big part of the planning, is how you get your list to be fully functioning at the right time of the year. And you speak about last year as an example. We felt like we were in a really, really strong position and starting to build our game and get our personnel into a really great position. And you do need a little bit of luck. We lost three of our forwards right on the last 2 weeks heading into the finals, which was a real challenge for us in the front half of the ground. So you can manage them as much as you like and get them into a great position, but you still need that element of luck, just not to lose them right at the right time and have that full list available when it matters.
Off the back of last year's final exit, Simon, it feels like there's been a blend of experience and I guess some regeneration with this list. The Seaway Woden and Windsor, Laurie, who was the sub, Howes, McVie. It feels like they're coming in with the key additions of the key pillars in which we've seen from Melbourne over recent years. Has that been very much a conscious decision to try and get to that next level?
Absolutely. We wanted to regenerate on the run and build our next side that's going to be capable of really challenging for that premiership. And we're not afraid to bring youth into the team and get games into them. We've had 5 guys last night that played under 10 games, and that's in addition to also Judd McVie last year, Jacob Van Rooyen. You see guys like Trent Rivers and Harrison Petty still building their games in their position to take us to the next level, and that's what it's about. It's about evolving your team into a team that's going to really challenge right at the pointy end of the season, and a big part of our youth is developing that at the moment.
So here's your chance on national radio. Caleb Windsor hasn't had a Rising Star nominee. It's a bit surprising, isn't it? I don't think Lee's on that committee anymore.
You always, when you coach players, you're a little bit biased in this space, but for a first year player, what he's been able to deliver. In a position that, you don't get sort of a heap of possession all the time, but his ability to execute his role and have high impact when he gets the ball is, something that we certainly value. But I'm sure the selectors of the Rising Star will grab his attention at some stage.
Not me anymore, Goody. Not me anymore.
He's keen to clarify, isn't he? I guess the other one, Simon, to ask you about is a lot of the off-season did focus on Clayton Oliver, your superstar. There was speculation as to whether he might find his way outside the club. 31 disposals last week, obviously had the hand injury leading into the bye. You've only played the 3 games this month. Is that the level of footy in which you needed to get him to in order to be playing his role in what you hope is a premiership contending side?
Yeah, look, he's done an enormous amount of work, and it's been obviously well documented, both on and off the field. And when he came into the team, it was all about building trust and being a great teammate. And in his first 3 or 4 weeks, he was able to do that. And then he had his finger injury, and his form probably suffered a little bit. But since that's been fixed, you can just see him. Last night he's really close to being right back to his absolute best. And he's just buying into everything that we do, and he's loved by his teammates. And he's going really well.
So have you seen the off-field, what you wanted to see from him? We only get to see him on match day, but from your point of view, the improvements in which you're looking for?
Oh, absolutely. And that's a part of what our environment needs to be. We need to care for our people. We need to really help them and help them off the field and make sure that they, can be, live a great life. And Clayton's put in a stack of work along with, some of the senior management at our footy club to put him into a fantastic position. And we couldn't be proud of the way he's going at the moment.
And just the broader around the fixturing, obviously there's been some sides who have come off the quick turnaround. Your challenge, as we mentioned, was the fact you played that Anzac Eve match, then you had the 10-day break. You play Carlton now and they have the quick turnaround. So it does feel like the fixture is going to have some different challenges throughout the season to try and make sure you're managing it as best you possibly can.
Yeah, look, every team goes through those challenges. You know, we're certainly not immune to that. We've already had one where we had a 5-day break playing 2 games away from home in Adelaide and able to navigate that fairly well. So we feel like we're well set up in that space. You know, we embrace those sort of situations, and a massive opportunity against Carlton on Thursday night. It's going to be another massive game. 2 teams very close to each other on the ladder and looking to improve. So it's going to be a great battle come Thursday night. We'll be ready.
And you were on the boundary last night, just over 50,000 in attendance. Lingy was just sitting alongside you. It was some atmosphere, wasn't it, for what felt like a real final shaper? It's the only time you played Geelong in 2024, but the atmosphere was incredible from the Melbourne fans.
Oh, it was incredible. You know, it's great to see our supporters find their voice. I think that last 40 minutes of footy, you know, there were highlights everywhere, 2 teams just wrestling momentum back and forth from each other. And, you know, we're playing some absolute cracking games against Geelong, and no doubt that was another. You know, we're starting to build a real good rivalry and in close games against a real high-quality opposition. So they're great games to be a part of.
And we had Craig McRae yesterday, the Collingwood coach on ABC Sport. He said he was watching you, Geelong and Carlton particularly closely. Is there someone you're watching over the last couple of weeks or in the next few weeks that you feel like is the benchmark at the moment?
I was just looking through the competition in the last couple of weeks. It's, you know, there's probably 7 or 8 teams that are all so even around how they played, and the whole competition's so hard. So I think everyone's looking at each other, looking for how they can improve and where they're going to get their edge in the season moving forward. But, you know, it's probably from this moment on, it's the teams that can continue to improve their most and evolve and come out the other side and set themselves up, you know, a little bit different from the way the opposition want to set up.
Well, a crucial 4 points last night. Best of luck against the Blues. Thanks as always for your time on a Sunday, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the support.
Simon Goodwin, the Melbourne coach, joining you on AFL Sunday on ABC Sport. Of course, on the other side, Chris Scott. Here was his reflections, the Geelong coach.
We thought we were off early on, and the real positive we take from the game is we were off and we gave ourselves a chance to win. So it was obviously a slippery game. The dew was in really early, and that sort of changed the way the game was played, you know, from a normal dry weather game. And I thought our guys adapted as the game went on. Clearly we handballed the ball too much, but the bottom line is we had our chances to win the game. So with a lot of guys off, I don't think there'd be many of our guys that'd be thinking they had really good days, but we were pleased with the way they hung in there.
Geelong coach Chris Scott, Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling with you for AFL Sunday. What do Cats fans take out of last night, Lingy?
Well, I think given the trust that they've built up throughout the season with the first 7 wins, they'll be disappointed in the loss, Cats fans, but they'll also think, okay, well, that's fine. We played against another really good team. Let's hope we bounce back. It was a great challenge for me looking at it analytically, how they're going to work their way through teams who are really strong in the midfield and really well set up behind the ball defensively. It's not going to be the flow of last week's victory against Carlton, where they were able to open Carlton up when they did get it forward and scored at will, almost. So how are they going to attack and try and be efficient in a different way? Stephen May and Jake Lever had huge games and really influential games. And as I said earlier, the control of the game and the way the game looked felt for most of the game like it was set up Melbourne's way. So Geelong are going to have to work through that. And the midfield for me is still the one that's a work in progress. I think it's a really good work in progress, Clinchy. I think Tanner Bruin, unfortunately, hurting his shoulder last night, but Tanner Bruin's taken a step forward. I think Jai Clark has come in and shown little glimpses. But Parfitt and O'Connor come out being managed, and you just notice maybe a tiny little drop-off in depth. I think Jack Bowes has been a really good addition to that midfield, but it's still one that is reliant on being deep rather than reliant on being A-plus grade superstars being able to go, okay, Paddy Dangerfield of 5 years ago just unleashed for a little bit. It needs a lot of players going through there who can sustain that intensity through the middle of the ground.
Tom Hawkins, at 35 years of age, for just the 3rd time in his career, has been held goalless for more than 3 weeks. Here was the thoughts of Chris Scott.
My suggestion would be, you've watched him at the peak of his powers, and now the observation is, he's not quite what he was. But when he kicked a couple of bags of 4 early in the year, he looked a little bit more like himself to me. So maybe a little bit off, but it's not a physical thing. But again, we've been clear, we'll manage him through the year.
Closing in on equalling Joel Selwood's record as games played for the Cats with 355. Will they rest him for a couple of weeks?
I think they will at some stage, yeah. I think they'll look for that opportunity, maybe some travel games off. They'll probably utilise the bye. Maybe you double up and you get a week off plus the bye for someone like Tom Hawkins. They'll do all that. I would still say he gets the best defender each time, the best big. So Jacob Wiedering last week plays on Hawkins, does a superb job on him and beats Hawkins, but that allows others to get involved in the game. There's the fact, now Stephen May was very good last night, but the fact Stephen May has to go to Hawkins mean that Ollie Henry can kick 3 goals because he can be on Jake he's still demanding of a very, very good opponent. He still has smarts. Of course he'd love to be kicking goals. Every forward, that's all they want to do. Deep down inside, every forward just wants to put it through the big stick. So he'll be disappointed he's not getting that own personal return. But I still think he's playing a pretty important role for a team that's sitting 7-1. So I wouldn't be jumping too quickly off Tom Hawkins.
On the SMS 0437 774 774, we asked who you think is the best player in the game at the moment. David says the best player has to be Max Gawn, the ultimate ruck who can still rove the ball, take the big marks and kick 65-metre goals. A totally unbiased Demon fan. And Melbourne dominated opportunities, clearances inside 50s, yet continue to fail up forward. The game plan still has some questions. So let us know your thoughts, 0437 774 774. Great to have your company on AFL Sunday on ABC Sport.
Hi, Waleed Ali here. If your brain's hungry for insights, the ABC Listen app has a feast of podcasts.
Try The Minefield.
Today we're going for the problem of evil.
Injustice and evil, if they're the same thing.
You might also like Future Tense.
And there is a sense of privilege in that idea of natural, isn't there? Which can easily be manipulated. Without a doubt.
Or Dr. Carl.
You can feel a slight cooling, that's latent heat of vaporisation or something.
Load up a podcast and feed your mind with the ABC Listen app.
This is AFL Sunday with Matt Clinch, Cameron Lee and Jake Niall.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Coming up today on ABC Sport, we take you to the MCG to kick off proceedings. There's no late changes for Richmond and Fremantle. A bit of a surprise, Lee, that Camden McIntosh is the sub for the Tigers and Nat Fyfe for the Fremantle Dockers off the back of his 30 disposals and turning back the clock.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about McIntosh. I think he's starting to become the sub more and more. But Fyfe, 37 touches and had got a bit of that spark back. That's a surprise for me, Clinchy.
Absolutely. The Bombers were able to get a crucial 4 points against the West Coast Eagles. The downside was Elliot Yeo with another groin injury in game 200. The Bombers had some tense moments there, but they were able to finish with the 4 points. What did you make of that?
I wanted more from Essendon, I must be honest, but I did say last week I just expect Essendon go and win. Just don't have a hiccup. Don't drop 4 points by a bad loss against a team that you're better than, even though it's at their home ground. So they did that, but I probably expected a little bit more convincing from them. Elliot Yeo's finally shown when you put in the hard work in the pre-season and actually get fit, the level that he can get back to, which is fantastic. Zach Merritt was superb again for the Bombers, as he's been all year. It's a win. It's in the bank. Yes, in a perfect world, I'd love it to be a little bit more convincing, but sometimes those wins are just crucial. When it comes to the tight finish to the season, finals, maybe positioning in finals, just a win that you've gone and got in Perth, despite it being closer than Essendon fans would like, they become important 4 points.
And there was another Harley Reid highlight with the fend-off as he was tackled. Here were the thoughts of Adam Simpson, the West Coast Eagles coach, after the loss.
Spirit was the first thing that comes to mind. I mean, 6-day break versus whatever Essendon had, that happens. But the second half in particular, I thought we lost a few soldiers. So won the second half and never stopped trying, which you could probably question us over the last few years about effort, but I'm seeing effort, and they're a really connected group. So disappointed we lost a close one, but we haven't had too many close ones for a while. So I don't think we lost any supporters tonight.
Adam Simpson with his reflections on last night. The good news for the Bombers fans, Lingy, is that they're just on the verge of the top four. So after the draw against Collingwood last week, they've been able to bounce back. Once more, it was Carl Langford who was able to kick 3 goals, 3. You mentioned Zach Merritt, who continues to shine with 3 goals. So it feels like the Bombers are becoming a little bit more consistent as a side.
Yeah, they are. And talk about Zach Merritt for a second, and we've been having the conversation around the best player in the competition and things like that. And Merritt I haven't quite got yet in that super upper bracket, but he's in the next one. Adding goals to his game puts him into that, eventually will put him into that top Isaac Heaney type bracket, or, Marcus Bontempelli type bracket, where, get 28 to 32 touches and influential touches and do everything like he does, and he works so hard, he tackles, he gets clearances. But if he can kick a couple of goals or do what he did last night and kick 3 goals, that's next level sort of stuff. So that's brilliant to see. As a leader, he has been nothing short of sensational. Obviously, his standards, his preparation, the way he goes about his footy is superb. And he's doing it on the field. So, yeah, the Bombers are getting there, Clinchy. As I said, it got a little worrying and a little bit too tight, but a win's a win. And then they head on to play next week, Clinchy? I think it's the Giants. Wow, yes, what a test.
A good test.
At the Docklands. That'll give them a huge test, obviously, the Giants wanting to bounce back as well. I reckon that'll give us a really good indication as to where the Bombers are exactly at.
Yeah, there's a couple of good games to look forward to in round 9. Carlton and Melbourne on Thursday night, the Cats and Port Adelaide from Cardinia Park on Friday. You mentioned the Bombers hosting GWS. And looking forward to, I guess, Adelaide and the Brisbane Lions, depending on what happens with the Lions later on this afternoon. Each Sunday on AFL Sunday, the chief footy writer for the Age newspaper in Melbourne joins us to debate all the key topics and talking points from the weekend's footy. Jake Niall, welcome to you. Thanks again for your time.
Thanks, Clinchy, and good to be on.
Ask Lingy what he thought the best goal of the weekend was. Did you have Nick Dacos in front of Bailey Fritsch, or what order did you have it in?
I think I had Dacos, not the actual goal. I thought Stengel's goal was actually the best. Fritsch meant it, but I do feel there was more luck involved. Dacos, because of the situation. I mean, if you kick the winning goal from that position. The thing about Nick Dacos was, Lingy, he made it look easy.
Yeah. He makes everything look easy.
But he made it look easy.
No, it was funny. Post-match, Jake, on ABC Grandstand Friday night, we had the replay playing, and I was talking through the midfield craft of that, and his movement through that stoppage was just sublime. And unfortunately, on the other side, Sam Walsh's just fraction of a second ball watching and hesitation compared to understanding where his opponent Nick Dacos was. That is the art form of around a stoppage in crucial moments. Dacos's movement and Walsh's positioning and concentration, you end up, there's the game decided right there. Brilliant by Dacos.
Yeah, I don't think
Isn't it a little bit that Harvey Harrison tapped the ball towards the goal for Dacos to run onto? So, in fairness to Walsh, that tap was unusual piece of play, because the ball bounced up, the ball bobbled up. I think it was Chera got the ball half tapped up in the air, and then Harrison tapped it forward into the path of Dacos. Arguably, Lingy, I'd be interested as a former tagger, should Walsh have been on the defensive side of the ball up?
Well, he needed to track Dacos initially, and this is where the trouble is when you've got just an A-grade ball winner versus an A-grade ball winner, both A+, in fact. The natural tendency of Walsh is, if there's half a chance, even less, to get the ball, he's going to be drawn to going to the ball. A player who has like I tried to have at stoppages, a 60-40 mindset, so 60% defence, 40% ready to attack. You don't get sucked to or watch that ball quite as much. You make sure you get your positioning right first, and then you move to win the ball. So I would have loved that opponent, whoever it was, and it was Walsh in this occasion, to have ensured, even with that first movement, that he got around to the defensive side of Dacos and then thought, how can I win the ball? And we're talking minuscule little differences here, but it decides a game. So, yeah, that positioning with Dacos's movement, I was thinking it had to be slightly differently before you thought about then going at the ball.
Yeah, no doubt a review, Sam Walsh and Adam Chera. I'm not looking forward to watching on Monday when Michael Voss probably takes them through the last couple of minutes. Jake, there was plenty to take out of the Sydney derby. Callum Brown and his bump on Tom McCartan, which left him concussed. It feels like Michael Christian will have no other way than to judge this, which will probably lead Brown sitting on the sideline for at least a few weeks.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be, my guess is my look at it is that it would be 3 or 4 weeks. I would say probably 4 in the current environment. I think it's clearly high. It's going to be, careless. It's not going to be deliberate. It's going to be careless. And it's going to be, the impact will be severe.
Yeah.
So that's 3, and then it goes to the tribunal. And I think it's either, it'll probably get, unless he grades it as 3. If he grades it as 3, not sends it to the tribunal, I think it'll go to the tribunal, then I would hazard a guess that the Giants would be smart to take the 3 and just accept the 3. I think if you're going to try, and if it goes to 4, I think you can contest it. I think if it's 3, don't contest it, just take it. Yeah. And we can't have incidents like this. I mean, we're in an environment where his brother is already retired, Nathan Murphy's retired, Angus Brayshaw has retired. There are going to be more players. And the bigger concern out of this incident to me is Tom McCartan, not Callum Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. And a concern with Tom Green leaving the field with an ankle injury. But yeah, Callum Brown with 15 goals for the season behind Charlie Curnow with 25 and Jesse Hogan with 24. He's been one of the key contributors for GWS this season. So it sets up what will be an interesting clash, as Lingy mentioned, against the Bombers next week. Before each game this weekend, Jake, players, coaches and umpires have come together to make a stand against gender-based violence. So the league announced a partnership with campaign group Our Watch to deliver training to each club after the national conversation around 4 women being murdered in this country as a result of domestic violence. You wrote the story in the Age newspaper about how this came about, and Don Pike, the West Coast Eagles CEO, really being instrumental in the AFL taking a stand here.
Yeah, well, one thing that's a bit different about this is that it came out of the clubs, and Don Pike in particular, who had a conversation with his wife Jodie, that she said, well, why don't you guys do something about this? They were talking about the issue, not about football. And that led to him initially thinking about Essendon and doing something at the Essendon game, and that then morphed into Don Pike sending an email to Andrew Dillon and Laura Kane, the AFL bosses, and then circulating that to all the CEOs, and the other CEOs got on board very quickly, and we've ended up with what I think is a very nice gesture of I want to say nice, very moving and quite stirring to see the players in the circle with the umpires joining hands. As remember, we saw this, of course, with other matters, like the tragic situation with Phil Walsh, for instance, back in 2015. I think that the inevitable consequence, though, Clinchy and Lingy, is that we then, in the same week where Wayne Carey was up for the New South Wales Hall of Fame, and a legend, and Andrew Dillon has had to call Wayne Carey and say, look, it's in this circumstance because of Wayne's prior issues, that this couldn't be a legend at least. I think there will be further. It's inevitable that when the AFL gets involved in the symbolic space, that people then look at the actual cases that are before them. And of course, the other one at the moment is Taron Thomas.
Yeah.
And that's a decision that every club is going through at the moment. I've spoken to a number of the clubs about where they sit on that. And I think the safest thing to say about it is that no club is going to take him simply on account of the football department and the coach. It will go through their club boards. And for instance, the Carlton Footy Club, their vice president is Paddy Kinnersley. She's the CEO of Our Watch. I would say from my understanding from talking to someone at the club, there's next to no chance that they'll look at Taron Thomas.
So for listeners trying to sort of keep across this, obviously the statement from the clubs, they wanted the AFL to be a leader on this front around the domestic violence which has taken place against women. But as you mentioned, Jake, it then brings about a challenge of issues for the AFL around Wayne Carey, who is going to be elevated to legend status in the New South Wales Hall of Fame. So Andrew Dillon, the CEO, had to ring him. Taron Thomas is currently suspended from the AFL for 18 matches. He was sacked by North Melbourne in February after he was found to have committed several breaches of the Players' Code of Conduct. misconduct, including threatening a woman via direct messages. And I think Kelly Underwood, as part of our Friday night team, sort of summarised some of the issues that faces the AFL and the governing body in trying to be a leader on this issue.
I would argue with Charlie that Taron Thomas has had so many opportunities already. He's had chance after chance, and he's serving an 18-month suspension over several incidents involving threatening women. And then for Brad Scott to come out and say, and Brad should know better, I was so disappointed. I nearly fell off the couch. I was so stunned when I heard he say that Thomas deserves a second chance and he's a good person. Well, over the last 12 to 18 months, he's proved that he isn't a good person. He's got a lot of work to do in himself. And the only reason Brad Scott's saying that is because he's a good player and he wants to win a premiership. So that really I found a bit sickening. You've got Ben Cousins involved in the AFL. Congratulations to Ben Cousins, getting his life back on track. Incredible resilience. We all want to see him healthy. Do we need to put him on Dancing with the Stars that he's already recorded and he's going to be celebrated over the next couple of months when Channel 7 wheels that out? And not to mention the debacle that's happened with Wayne Carey tonight, who was due to be inducted into the New South Wales Hall of Fame and elevated to an immediate legend. When Andrew Dillon had to call him up today and say, you've just arrived in Sydney, it's a bad look, don't go, and you're not going to be elevated as a legend. So I think it's been messy and it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Kelly Underwood with her thoughts as part of our Friday night team. As you mentioned, Ben Cousins was jailed for 7 months for stalking his ex-partner, and the Eagles chair, Paul Fitzpatrick, was part of our ABC Sport call team leading up to the match last night between the West Coast Eagles and Essendon, asked around Ben Cousins as to whether the club should nominate him as part of the Hall of Fame.
I'm thrilled that Ben Cousins is back and he's happy and he's healthy and he's fit and he's doing a good job in a working environment. But there's been a push from certain circles about him being into the Hall of Fame. Now, that can only come if a club puts his name forward to be accepted into the Hall of Fame. Does the West Coast Eagles have a position at the moment about putting Ben forward for the Hall of Fame?
Not a decision, not a discussion I've been part of at the moment.
Hasn't been a discussion at any level that you're aware of at the club?
Not that I'm aware of.
So right now, where would you sit if it was brought to you?
I think Ben deserves to go into the Hall of Fame.
So Paul Fitzpatrick, the Eagles chair, as part of the ABC Sport lead-in to last night's match. So, Jake, it makes it a tricky position. He said there that the Eagles haven't really put his name forward to go into the Hall of Fame, but he is supportive as a former player that he would like to see him recognised.
I don't see there's any way in this environment, and when I say in this environment, it's not like this environment's new, and it's not like the environment's worsened around violence against women, of course, looking at the statistics, which are just, mind-bogglingly terrible. I can't see the AFL in the current situation allowing Ben Cousins to be in the Hall of Fame anytime soon. I just don't think it's appropriate. It's not that long. Ben, exactly what Kelly Underwood said, he's done a great job to get his life together, credit to him, but it would be completely inappropriate for him to go into the Hall of Fame in the current circumstances. I think there's got to be quite a lot of water going under the bridge. And, the AFL's got to grapple with this in a case-by-case basis. Not all cases are the same, but at the moment you'd be erring on the side of caution.
So, Jake, with all of this talk, Hall of Fame, New South Wales Hall of Fame, everything like that, and then the gestures that are happening before the game, a lot of people, and possibly quite rightly so, would say, well, the AFL's not being leaders in this area and it's a bit of just tokenism what's going on at the moment. Is there actually going to be real impact from what's happening at the moment and the stance they're making? What do you say to that? Is this just the AFL trying to be across every single social issue that's in our community?
I don't think, Lingy, they can be across every issue. I think this issue, though, has got much greater prominence and they've been forced into this position a little bit. So I think that with the Taron Thomas scenario in the background, I think that I think people are starting. I think the whole country. It's not something football can solve clearly, but football can play a little role in educating people. I think that's really where it sits. And I would say that their problem is that once you trade in symbolism, once you get involved in the symbolism, as you said, you can be accused of tokenism if you don't follow up with something. And unfortunately for those individuals, such as Wayne Carey, such as Ben Cousins, and to a degree, Taron Thomas.
Gary Ablett Senior.
It comes down on individual cases. The next step, and then the next step is, I'd like to see the AFL, talk to, if they have these conversations with AR Watch and similar organisations, and come up with practical ways that football can make a difference. Maybe, Lingy, in country communities, in suburban local clubs, where there's role modelling of young men and adolescent people. I mean, I don't have the answers. I'm just throwing up ideas. I don't have the answers. I think what you have to do first is talk to the people who are in the areas and try and get educated and maybe use football as an education tool. But, of course, it's only football. It's not the government.
And as always, we welcome the AFL CEO, Andrew Dillon. If he wants to come on to the program to chat, Matt Clinch, Cameron Ling and Jake Niall with you on AFL Sunday. There's no doubting where Brad Scott sat around the Sam Draker comments after the Essendon Ruckman went on a podcast to give his thoughts on the Western Bulldogs coach Luke Beveridge and potentially the possibility that some of the players might depart at season's end. He was the Essendon coach last night.
I was really disappointed in Sam, and he's very, very clear how disappointed I was, and he thought he was, in an environment where he, thought he was being funny. I said, mate, it's the furthest thing from funny. It's disrespectful. Our club has had to fight extremely hard for a long period of time to earn in this competition, and that's just one thing that eats away at that. So I was really disappointed in him, but at the same time, I mean, my job's to I see these as opportunities to help educate and work with players. So it's not about hanging him out to dry, but he knows that he did the wrong thing. Absolutely not the reason why he didn't play. We would have loved him tonight, but we went through a cycle last year with Drapes where he played, got a bit sore, we kept playing him, and he had a sore knee, and I just wanted to break that cycle. So provided his knee's fine, he'll play next week.
It's going to be an ongoing challenge, Jake, with players featuring on podcasts, and we want them to be with open, sort of in transparency of their thoughts and opinions, but I guess Brad Scott made it pretty clear how he thought about those comments and the disrespect he viewed it in.
Yeah, well, he was talking about the coach of the Bulldogs, Luke Beveridge, and about players potentially going. And I think that, look, I'm not, as someone who's in the media who relies on people being frank, I'm not about to criticise Sam Draper. I like the frank player, but I can understand why yes. And it's also, the podcast is an interesting one because a lot of players are in them and it's far less regulated than when they talk to us. So that the clubs typically train the player to say things, but when they go into their own podcast, they're probably looser. And Sam Draper, I mean, remember, don't forget that when he should have got pinged for that free kick in the Adelaide game, he then did a reenactment of it on the ground, which I thought was hysterical, and I really liked that. But, we need some colour in the game. We do need people to say things. But I can also understand why Brad Scott wasn't exactly wrapped.
Yeah, I think Sam Draper will have a pretty good understanding as to where Brad sits on both of those. Jake, thanks as always. We'll chat to you next Sunday.
Thanks a lot, guys.
To close our program every Sunday, we get Lingy's last word.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now have much pleasure in inviting 1963 Geelong Premiership player Doug Wade to present the Premiership Cup to Cameron Ling and the Geelong Football Club.
Dane Swan, toughest opponent. Probably Cameron Ling. Dan Cousins, toughest opponent. Cameron Ling.
Well, let's go to the last word, and it involves a game today, Clinchy, and two clubs that I believe need to break the mediocrity cycle. I'm talking about the Western Bulldogs and I'm talking about Fremantle. Now, they played each other last week, of course, and Fremantle got the nod, got the win. The Doggies taking on the Hawks at Docklands at 4 o'clock, and Freo, well, they're about to take on the Tigers at the MCG. Dogs are 11th, Freo are 9th. Now's the time. You want to get your season rolling. You want to break that cycle of sitting anywhere from maybe 8th to 13th. Just win. Just simply win. I know, Freo, you're away from home. You're playing against the Tigers at the G. Doesn't matter. You're a better team, or you should be aiming to be a better team. Given Richmond's injuries, given Richmond's they're trying to regenerate and bring some youth in, just go and win. Bulldogs, exactly the same. I put it on Essendon last week and said, go over to Perth and just simply win. They did it. Doggies, don't have a hiccup against the Hawks. I think Fremantle and the Dogs need to just go whack, whack, Clinchy, and let's actually get some serious footy going from those two teams. Don't live in that dreaded 8th to 13th on the ladder. Start pushing up hard and deep into that top 8, and it can start in games like they've got today where they are very, very winnable and should just go bang.
Cameron Ling with his last word. I'm heading to Docklands to call the Western Bulldogs and the Hawks. Looking forward to seeing Keisha Deer make his debut as well, the son of the late 1991 Norm Smith medalist Paul Deer, who sadly passed away to pancreatic cancer in 2022. If Brisbane are going to get their season back on track, they just have to win this afternoon, don't they? 2-5, or tonight, I should say, of course,
Yes,
the Q clash.
7:10 p.m. I had to check twice about that time, but it turns out there is a public holiday in Queensland. So that's the reason for that one. So I'll be sitting on the couch. Yeah, you're right. They just win that one. They just any way they can, they've got to get their season rolling. I think they're a little too far back, the Lions. I think the Pies are going to be fine and they'll be flying with their slower start to the year. Not so sure about the Brisbane Lions.
I'll tell you who will be rubbing his hands together would be Toot Miller and Damien Hardwick. If they could beat the Brisbane Lions and maybe send their season crashing down, that would just add a little bit more spice to the rivalry, and I'm all for that. So I'll be with you. I'll be listening in tonight as we make our way home. Thank you, Lingy. As always, great to chat to you on a Sunday, and what a big week of footy we've coming up again next week.
Oh, I can't wait, Clinchy. Always great to chat with you. Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy the footy.
Cameron Ling with you on AFL Sunday. We're taking you to the MCG. It's Richmond taking on Fremantle. Camden McIntosh is the sub for the Tigers, and the surprise Nat Fyfe for the Fremantle Dockers. So our commentary team to pick up proceedings in just a moment. Ben Cameron, Andrew Mays, Brett Delidio and Luke Ball will be at Docklands this afternoon for the Hawks and the Western Bulldogs, and to close the show, the Brisbane Lions and the Gold Coast Suns. Don't forget, if you've missed all of the action across the weekend, you can catch up with it on the ABC Listen app or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search the best of ABC Sport, and you can find AFL Saturday and AFL Sunday. And don't forget the new podcast, ABC AFL Daily, with Catherine Murphy and Paul Roos. It's all there on the ABC Listen app. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your footy on this Sunday.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
AFL. On your radio.
On digital. And take us with you on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
The AFL's unofficial rivalry round continues with a reprise of Fremantle's first ever game, which was against Richmond here at the MCG. 30 years on, here we are again. Welcome to this great gallery of the game, the MCG, for the improving Dockers against Richmond, who have struggled in their first season under Adamuse. Ben Cameron in commentary this afternoon alongside Andrew Mays. Maysy, tremendous to see you. What are you looking forward to today?
Well, just looking forward to a good contest, to be honest, and what a picture-perfect day it is. You don't walk into the MCG many times through the depth of winter, and it's almost hitting 20 degrees today, not a cloud in the sky, and the crowd has come in late too, which is a good sign.
So the team news, no late changes for either side, but Nat Fyfe is starting as the sub for Fremantle. The reason listed is that they have a short turnaround to their game next week. Camden McIntosh for Richmond. Our experts, Brett Delidio and Luke Ball, will get to them in a moment, but right now the two teams just huddling up for a statement against gender-based violence in the middle of the MCG. Let's join our MC.
Lost their lives and have been tragically cut short due to violence. The football world is united as we come together to say enough is enough, and this must stop. Behind every death is a woman who has lived and a woman who was loved. When it comes to violence against women, the only acceptable figure is 0. We remember all the women who have been killed in gender-based violence and stand in solidarity in committing to doing more to stop this community-wide problem. Please pause for a moment as we pay our respects and join in a silent tribute to those women who have lost their lives. Thank you.
So another poignant moment here at the MCG with the AFL coming together to take a stand against gender-based violence. It is Sunday footy on ABC Sport, round 8 from the MCG. As I said, Brett Delidio and Luke Ball, your experts, here on ABC Sport. It's already been a big day for you, Brett Delidio. The Richmond Past Players Day. How's it been?
Fantastic, man. I'm coming in hot. It was great to catch up with a few old teammates, guys that I hadn't seen for a lot of years. And probably the longest was Darren Gaspar. He rolled in, the great man. He tried to hit me up for some money I didn't pay for him for a trip down to Warragul for some fuel money.
Long memory.
One of the great tight wads is Darren Gaspar. But then great initiative by the club to get more boys back in, which was good, and hopefully we can get a good spectacle from the boys today.
Luke Ball, great to see you as always, doubling up this weekend. What are you looking out for this afternoon?
Thanks, Benny. As I just passed lids of water just to straighten him out a little bit. But I'm just looking forward to it. Like Maisie, I mean, as you said, Ben, the scoreboard or the ladder shows that Richmond haven't had a great start to the year, but they have been competitive against the odds a bit with injury and stuff too. So the Fremantle Dockers, I mean, you'd think should be winning, but they wouldn't want to take Richmond lightly here and look for Richmond here off a long break, so they should be nice and fresh to get off to a really good start.
A sunny day here at the MCG. Ian Cohen between the benches. We'll get to him in a moment. But it is a sunny MCG. Umpires Donlan, Brown, Doran, Heffernan, and underway you're with Andrew Mace.
Nankervis got up and won it. Well, it went straight to Young of Freo, who's able to get it over to Sarong. Scrappy kick inside 50. Taken by Vlosten. Taken in a very strong tackle. Advantage was paid. Frederick with a bit of space. Gets it onto the boot. Now drifting forward a little bit is Sharp, who gets it to the goal square. No mark taken and bounces through for one behind. First score of the game, and it is Freo by a point after 30 seconds.
He off a record 17 clearances last week. Caleb Sarong gets the first one of the game.
The reigning best and fairest and an All-Australian. Kicking goes right up the middle. Punched away by Pearce. Onto it Sharp. Wrapped up by Ralph Smith. And a ball up on the edge of the square on the southern side of the ground.
Midfield's obviously going to be key, Lids, isn't it? It looks like Richmond are happy to go man-on-man or one-on-one, yet no sort of designated tag or a run-with to speak of at the moment.
Darcy wins the tap down, trying to pick it up. Nankervis getting involved. Sarong, as per usual. On all fours, Thompson Dowell extracts it. Straight away to Young, who's wrapped up. A ball up. Ian Cohen between the benches.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Great conditions here. If you're a boundary rider, it's excellent. Blue sky, a couple of clouds around. It'll be a low crowd by Richmond standards. It was Freo who won the toss, and they're kicking towards the city end. And as he said, Fife and McIntosh are the subs.
Sarong was just about to get away with another stoppage win, although it's a free kick for Richmond. So Martin comes away with it, kicks it towards the wing. A chance now for Vlosten, who got his arms free in the tackle. Off to Rioli, who was initially thinking about the 1-2. Over to Morris Rioli, who goes inboard and finds Martin. This is where he can be at his dangerous best. What can he set up? Into the pocket he goes. Bolton was there, but Lafau takes it in front. Lovely kick. And Lafau can line up, 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left.
It was good by the Rioli boys out here on the wing. I think young Morris was trying to put him into a bit of a spin there. But it was a good kick inside. Just broke up the play. And it wasn't Dusty's best kick that I've seen him hit, but it got there quick. And that's what didn't allow Pearce to come over the top of Lafau. It's been good. Gave him a real presence up forward, Lafau, since he's come into the side.
Strong hands in front of Pearce there. He kicked 7 goals in his debut season. He strikes this one beautifully. What a start for the Tigers. Beautiful strike of the footy. His first for the afternoon. And Richmond, 1 straight 6. Lead the Dockers, 1 behind. We've played 2.5 minutes in the opening term.
Gee, for someone who hasn't been doing that all his life, he's a beautiful kick, isn't he? Nice and efficient. Not a lot can go wrong with that. Whoever's taught him has done a great job. He runs straight and straight drop and toe to the target, as they say. And yeah, you're right. Nice kick, a nice follow-up play from Dustin March. Great to see him start on the centre bounce too, isn't it? Again, he would have benefited greatly from the extended break here. Of course, their last game was Wednesday, Anzac Day Eve. So great to see Dustin starting on the ball, and he's got 2 early touches to go with it. And it's a big job, isn't it? Alex Pearce has been one of, if not the premier fullback in the first 7 rounds of this season. So great to get an early goal against him from the young man.
I want to pick up something you said there, Borley, as Nankervis wins the tap back in the middle. Richmond with the opening goal. Dow trying to get a handball out. Baker onto it. Handball to Martin. He'll kick to half forward. Marlon Pickett leading up. Clean half volley pickup. High half forward for Richmond. Spins, gets a handball away to Ralph Smith. Low kick. Baker a clean pickup on the half volley. Handball releases Marlon Pickett. He puts it on the boot, turns it over. Walker marks in the back pocket for Fremantle. Freo in there away white with the purple chevrons. Richmond in their home yellow and black, the sash, and then the black shorts as well. They led it by 5 points, the Tigers.
Ryan to Sarong, back to Ryan in the back pocket here for the Dockers. Chip over the top is a good one to Chapman. He'll look further down the field in the shade of the Olympic stand. Outside his defensive 50 now with a high kick towards the wing. Tracy was underneath it. Able to come onto it, almost make the spoil from in front was Nankervis. Ball trapped under that pack going nowhere. We'll have a ball up in between left half forward and the wing for the Tigers. Heading towards the punt road end. Sarong almost burst away with it. Now a chance for Young to O'Meara by hand. Swings onto his right boot. Up towards right half forward. Tracy kept it in front of him, but Martin's there to read it best for the Tigers. Goes the hand pass a little wider still. And this is Banks. And Rioli will be disappointed there, Morrison not taking that one. It is ball over for a boundary throw in left half forward for the Tigers. We've played 4.5 minutes. They lead by 5.
Morris Rioli Jr. He could have gone to Fremantle as a father-son. His dad played 168 games at South Fremantle in the WAFL. Young comes away with the footy for the Dockers. Handball gets knocked back to him. Handball to Luke Ryan. In trouble. Gang tackled and taken high. Gets a little reprieve. At centre half back for the Dockers. Defensive edge of the square. Tigers led it by 5 points. 5 minutes into this opening term. Bites off a kick into the middle for Young. Releases Walker in the long sleeves. Kicks the Dockers inside 50. Good mark coming in from the side. Nathan Broad takes it defensively for Richmond.
Broad to short by hand, and he darts a lovely ball till a foul hit him on the chest. Right half back for the Tigers. What can they build here? Plenty of Dockers jerseys forward. He goes wide, too wide in fact. Out of bounds on the full.
No toe to target there, Bally, was there? Butchered it straight out of bounds. What's he doing up there into the ground? Get back inside 50.
So Alex Pearce with the free kick. He'll start right on centre wing, comes inboard a little and then fires inside 50. High ball. Richmond with the numbers. Again, it was Broad who tried to claim the mark in the end. He's then tackled immediately and that ball's going nowhere, or it is going somewhere. Umpire let them play for a long time. He fashioned some sort of a kick. Ralph Smith has it. Right half back for Richmond. Gives it off to the running short. Chip over the top is good. And Lafau can go by hand to Martin.
Martin kicks forward. Hold turnover. Straight to Brandon Walker of the Dockers. Backward of the wing on the southern side. Comes infield to Darcy. He'll go back out wide, close to the boundary line and sharp.
They have been wanting to go quicker, Freo. Here they get held up a little bit, but that's where you need to go, isn't it? You turn the ball over in the middle of the ground. You need someone running past.
Sharp stubs his toe on the kick. An absolute shank straight to Ralph Smith. Richmond back in possession. Short. Back in the team comes infield to Baker. And it's just held up. Might be auditioning today. Liam Baker out of contract at the end of the year. Linked with the move back to WA. And potentially the Fremantle Dockers goes short to Dan Rioli inside the centre square.
He was looking wider, Daniel Rioli, first of all, but he's going to come back inboard into the centre circles. Grimes has the ball now. Looking again wide, and he pulls his kick a little short, and Dan Rioli has it again. Out wider by hand to Short, who kicks an absolute floater inside 50. Good luck marking that. Pearce thought he did. He was then tackled, didn't realise umpire had called played on. He said touched, it was held to him. We'll have a stoppage inside attacking 50 for the Tigers, who lead by 5 points after 7.5 minutes in this opening quarter.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Darcy down for O'Meara. Loses it immediately. Martin picks it up there for Richmond. Handball to Dan Rioli. To Short on the left. Long to full forward. Shea Bolton drops the mark. Over the behind line. A minor score. 1-1-7 Richmond. Fremantle 1 behind. Shea Bolton's dad Darren played for the Dockers a couple of games in the 90s.
Might need a new footy, I think, Lids.
Yeah, I was going to say.
A lot of sacks being kicked out there, isn't there? Maybe that one's not
kicked in.
Enough air in it.
Clark to Ryan.
Early start players just feel a bit of rust out of the system.
Now the longer kick comes to Walters, who takes it on his chest, a long way from home. Doing some work at right half back. Keeps it low. That's a good kick to Jackson, who's well in front of Nankervis. Takes the mark. Good build up here by the Dockers.
Yeah, and again, this is where you'd love to see them go. He had one-on-ones ahead of the ball there, Lids. You take a mark on centre wing, and all of a sudden they retreat back to 40 metres out from their own goal.
So the switch is on through Ryan and then Clark, and then wider still to Sharp, who takes it. Now on to centre wing. Hamish has come a long way up the field. Look to go quickly onto that left. Short option is on, and he takes it there as well. Now looking for a path forward. Kicked inside 50. It's a high ball. Walter sets himself at the front for the crumb. He was almost onto it. He becomes the tackler on Vlosten, who just tapped it to the advantage of Baker. Quick kick out of there. Foul might be involved as well here as Sharp beats him to it, and boundary line beats everyone out of bounds in between wing and left half forward for Freo. They trail by a goal after 9 minutes, opening term.
Solid defences, and it leads. For all their injuries, Richmond, there's still a lot of premiership medals behind the ball for them, isn't there? When you look at Broad and Grimes and Short.
So important.
Boston, obviously.
Sets them up. Love to hear from you. 0437 774 774 from the ball in. Jackson wins it for the Dockers. They're retreating again. Sharp to Young. And now Johnson goes back to Young. Wants to get onto his left. Does so on the logo. Kicks forward to Frederick. Gathers on the bounce. Half forward for the Dockers. Snaps into the pocket. Getting back. The mark taken there by Tyler Young. In the right back pocket. Richmond lead by 6 points. You mentioned the early game. Lids and Borley, did you feel like you were wiping the sleep out of your eyes with the...
Best time to play. We used to love it. Although I've got a bit of a theory about the travelling from Perth. Now, it's 11 o'clock in their body clock, Benny, always 50 metres. That's a gimme. But always a bit of a watch, I reckon, when the teams come over from Perth and they get the 1 o'clock game, which is 11 o'clock their time. Sometimes they get left in the blocks a little bit, but... Just, this early game's been just littered with mistakes, hasn't it? Unforced errors from both teams.
Yeah, the kicking's been putrid so far. It's like the 10-goal breeze that Freo seem to be kicking into, it looks like, with the way the ball's spinning. But there's been a few Tigers boys doing it as well. We'll see how this one goes from the big ruckman.
So Darcy took the intercept mark. It was off the instep. Then he got marched 50 metres. This from 30 out, directly in front. And he makes no mistake. Straight through the middle. Scores level, 1-1 apiece after 10 minutes in the opening term.
I used to love playing the early game, Bally. It was always felt the 4:40 game, regardless whether it was Saturday or Sunday, you're sitting around watching the other games that are on. You're thinking about it for a long period of time. But the 1 o'clock game, it's up, go for your walk, get a coffee, and you're basically heading to the ground. Well, I was, because I was a bit paranoid about getting there nice and early and not getting caught up in traffic or anything. Yeah. But hour early rather than a minute late, Lids, one of your famous sayings. That's exactly right, Benny. But I think, for Perth teams, I don't know whether you used to do this either, Bally, or your fitness guys would make you stay on Melbourne time when you went over to Perth. We used to do that as well, just to try and, stay in the same body clock and not end up sleeping in too long or staying up too late.
Well, you think they would have trained at 11 o'clock back at home all week, so they were ready for this. But I'm just looking for little things, little bits and pieces. Good to see Sean Darcy back and in the groove now, though, isn't it? Fourth game back.
Jackson in the middle, wins the tap onto it. Young, Walters getting involved, paddles it onto Johnson, who's tackled by 3 Tigers. Taken to ground and a ball up in the centre square. Scores level 1-1 apiece for the opening 12 minutes. Lots of text coming in. We'll get to those in a moment. Jackson hooks it down. Young away to Clark. Hooks the Dockers inside 50. Attacking at Tracy. Can't take the mark. Comes down at ground level. Banks there for Richmond. Loses it. Emmett arriving in a spin. Gets rid of a handball. And wrapped up quickly. High tackle, in fact. Free kick going the way of Sonzi. Back in the Richmond team after a best-of-field performance in the VFL last week in the back pocket.
Changes his mind at the very last moment and goes out wide. It's a good decision too, because Pickett had about 5 metres on Jackson, who was the nearest opponent. He goes long too. And he was looking for Naismith, who couldn't take the mark, and fired away from him and out of bounds. So a stoppage to take place just forward of centre wing for the Tigers.
A couple of half chances for young Morris Rioli. Missed the mark earlier, and that one he was away. If he just had taken that cleanly, gets them inside forward 50.
Toss back into play. Naismith palms it down. Immediately tackled there was Sonti. He's going nowhere, and we'll have another stoppage, this time 15 metres in from the boundary line.
Orly, you'll be pleased to know Anthony in Wild Dog Valley. Beautiful afternoon listening to the footy as I split firewood for next year's fire pit.
Next year? Next week? It's got to dry out,
It says next year's.
Okay.
Must be a bit wet still.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't need it. It's 19, 20 degrees today. Doesn't need one. But
it's chilly in Wild Dog Valley, I reckon.
Yeah, maybe tonight.
You can always make an excuse for a fireball.
Fire pit.
You're a big fire pit man, aren't you, Lids?
Oh, mate. Beautiful fire pit weather this, isn't it, though? When the sun goes down. Nice crisp weather.
Johnson winning a free kick on the half-back flank for the Dockers. Retreats to Ryan inside his defensive 50. Wants to switch it. Pearce can mark. Still inside the defensive arc. He'll go short to Walker again.
See what they're doing, the Dockers, just trying to make the ground really big, aren't they, and try and play a bit of keepings off and stretch out this Richmond team defence. Now they need to break a line with space in front, Jordan Clark.
This man can do it. He takes a couple of bounces, lowers his eyes, good kick as well to Amos, who's presenting on the wing. There's a couple of options inboard. There kicks behind Walker there, who has to retreat. Now he's in the middle of the ground, fires it out wide. Sharp. Bolton almost encroached in the protected zone there. Sharp just takes his time with the kick, goes long and deep. Jackson up early, couldn't take the mark. At ground level, Sonsi got the hand pass away. It's socket out of there, but straight away, Shanasha's got an option short, and the mark is taken by Johnson. He's 48 from goal. This will take his best.
Yeah, they really marched the ball up, didn't they, Bally? And they're making Richmond defend for long periods by playing this kick mark style. It can really wear a young side out if you're not great at handing over and utilising your teammates further up the field. You can find little holes, and unfortunately, just the pressure kick out of there, marked and turned back over. Not an easy shot, but a shot on goal.
So he's directly in front, but he's 52 out. Strikes it pretty well. Does it have the journey? Not quite. Through for one behind. That is a lead for Freo. That's solitary behind. 15 minutes played opening term.
Didn't really use the ability to run around the man on the mark, did he?
No.
As Miller kicks up the middle and Aish marks for the Dockers. Kicks immediately laterally to Johnson again.
Super player, James Aish, underrated. Just does the job week in, week out. 28 possessions last week.
Goes forward to Chapman, who takes a nice mark on the half-forward flank, or right on the arc of 50 towards centre half-forward. I see Garrick Ibbotson every time I see that 5 for some reason. I don't know why. Ibbo will be happy with this shout-out as Amos in the leading lane, hit on the chest. And he takes the mark as he bangs bodies with a couple of Richmond players. And he'll go back from 35 out on a slight angle to the right.
Well, it was a courageous mark from Heath Chapman to set up that kick. And Adamuzo would be a little bit disappointed there. It was very much a slow play. And It was at least 16, almost every Richmond player in front of the ball. But for a key forward to be able to lead out into a pocket of space like that and take a mark reasonably uncontested will disappoint him.
On the goal kicking at Fremantle last year, 41 goals in his second year, usually reliable, starts at left, sneaks it through. Back-to-back majors for the Dockers. And they lead by 7 points midway through this first term. 2-2-14, Richmond 1-1-7. We've played 16 minutes in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Brett Delidio and Luke Ball. I really rate this young fella. I think he's going to be a star key forward of the future, if he's not already pressing claims for that. His ability just to get up the ground and work. We've already seen him up on the wing. You just seeing there on the replay, Bally, his ability to just stay mobile and not just plonk and then try and push off to get some separation. He's not going to wait for someone to tie him up. He's like, nah, one of my attributes is my movement, and that's where we're seeing the best of him. And we will see the best of him in the future.
A bit of a sloppy hand over there. We spoke about Richmond's premiership medals in their back six there. It was Grimes and Floston there just switching off a little bit and giving Amos that space.
Brayshaw just got the hand pass away to Chapman. Clearance for Freo into the dangerous part. Banfield was front and centre, couldn't take the mark. Tracy spun out of a tackle. Amos all on his own, found it with the handball snap, should have kicked it. Hit the post. He was 25 out directly in front. So a behind for Amos. And a chance now for the Tigers to repel.
Almost had too much time as Vloston's kicking a turnover. Fremantle back on it. Johnson, handball, cuffs it up, getting involved. Sonsi puts Dow under pressure. Swings a handball clear beyond defensive 50. Onto it, Naismith. Handball to Dan Rioli, to Martin, to Sonsi again. Back to Martin, retreats with the handball. But it releases Rioli. Kicks forward of the wing. Here go Richmond. Martin again. Gets it back. Kicks into the pocket. Lafau in good position. The Kelty Lafau marks 20 metres out, deep in the right forward pocket. Richmond coast to coast. Well, how good was that? And Dusty's involved halfway down the ground all the way through. It was 3, maybe 4 involvements there, but then the finish as well at speed. Lafau just keeps presenting, doesn't he? Gives himself every opportunity. That's all you can ask if you key forward. Only goalless once in his AFL career to date. He's already got one today. His check side from the pocket here is narrow. Minor score. So back to 7 points, Fremantle's lead. You mentioned how good a kick he is on the drop punt, Bally. It's like the players who learn later in life are coached properly. So the Irishmen, they're all good kicks. I've got a theory that kicking is hereditary, which I'll explain further in a moment.
So block was a good kick.
Yeah. Block would have been a good kick, wouldn't he?
Brilliant, yeah. Well, so he tells me.
Well, who teaches you to kick usually?
Your dad.
Your dad usually,
Or your pop.
whether you're a boy or a girl. So that's why I think it's hereditary. It's usually passed down. Look at Nick Dacos and Josh Dacos.
Sarong with another clearance off his left. They've moved this to half forward, the Dockers, quite nicely. Banfield onto it. Drives it inside 50. Tracy caught behind on that occasion. And the mark is taken. Deep inside defensive 50. Young goes short.
Bailey Banfield's got the job on Nick Floston today, coming off a terrific game last week. Banfield, almost a match-winning game, kicked 3 goals.
Floston went wide and just missed his target. Freo with a chance here, although chiming in nicely. Tigers get numbers. Now a chance for Sonsi. Kicking board is good to Dow as well, onto the wing, who wants to keep going quickly. Next option is the more difficult one. Lafau getting back. Couldn't take the mark, but did well at ground level. Followed up off to Morris Rioli from 50. High kick inside, and Chapman read it better than anyone for the Dockers. Takes the mark, running back with the flight.
Great one-on-one win, wasn't it? Just a little cute there from Rioli. He had one-on-ones, top of the square. Tried to find Martin.
Oh, he turns it over, Sarong, trying to exit the defensive 50 and broad marks. Native Sandgroper are up playing for Swan Districts. I'm sure Fremantle saw a lot of him in the waffle. Gets around Walters, kicks on his left inside 50. Another Swan Districts player is then losing it quickly. Pearce holding the ball. And the free kick. Will it go to Nankervis, surely? Or in the end, trying to pinch it, I think, Ryan Mansell. It will go to Nankervis, who's pinged Pearce, and he'll have their set shot 25 out, 45-degree angle.
Did he get a little fist on it, Lids? It was one of those ones where he didn't have a heap of time, heap of pride, got the arms up to try and free them of the tackle, the double tackle. Umpire Chris Donlan's adjudged that he didn't quite get the fist, the clenched fist to it, so if that's the case, then fair decision.
Nank the Tank comes in and starts it right. It doesn't come back enough. Let off for the Dockers. One straight kick, their advantage. 2-3 plays 1-3, 21 minutes into this first term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Ben Cameron, Andrew Mays, Brett Delidio, Luke Ball and Ian Cohen on the boundary.
So Ryan darts one to 50. Sarong on his own takes the mark uncontested. Looking to go back into the middle here, and that's a lovely kick to Young, who takes the mark behind the centre circles, goes quickly with the handball over the top. It's a good one to H, who's got a paddock in front of him, kicks early into the pocket, no mark taken. At ground level, Tracy, he's flipped the handball over the head of Sharp. He's got a retreat. And then looking to centre things up. Lovely kick to Brayshaw, who takes the mark. 45 out, slight angle to the left.
Yeah, they probably cost themselves an easier shot on goal there just with that missed handball from Tracy. But how good was the handball of Young in the middle of the ground? It broke up the play. It allowed Ace to get that ball in nice and quick. Vlosten was out of position, recovered really well. Now they've got the set shot. Brayshaw, usually pretty sound.
So a kick from 51, lays everything into it. It'll have the distance, but off to the left, one behind. 2 goals, 4 now the Dockers. 1 goal, 3 the Tigers. Margin 7 points, 22 played opening quarter.
Yeah, you mentioned that handball from Hayden Young. Well, he's had 9 of them, Lids. 10 possessions, 9 effective handballs. So he's been everywhere in this first 20 minutes.
Short with the kick in to Young in the pocket. Will run around the boundary, take a bounce, and now runs himself into a little bit of trouble. Works it out with short again, and now drives it long around the southern wing, looking for a marker. Lafau brings it down onto it. Sarong for the Dockers. Handball to Frederick in the middle of the MCG. Driving ball towards Jackson in good position. Punched away down there by Miller. Grimes mops it up for Richmond. Gives it off to Ralph Smith. Half-back flank onto Dusty, who started well.
Kick is okay as well. He's able to find Campbell. Short kick is all right as well. And the mark taken by Ralph Smith, who kept on running. Just in front of the interchange benches, in front of the members here at the MCG. Darts back inside, then a long kick towards the pocket. The leaper is Bolton from the side, who almost pulled it in. At ground level, he goes to work. Couldn't get his hands on the footy. Now coming away as Chapman takes the bounce for Freo. An important decision here for Amity. Almost got the ball away just in the end, and to the run of Young, who then goes on his right boot. Lovely kick to Jackson. 55 from goal. They're out everywhere here, Freo. And the kicking board is good, and Walters takes it 35 out slide angle to the left.
A couple of things there, Liz. I mean, he's becoming a star pretty quickly, isn't he, Hayden Young? Just that beautiful kick
on the opposite,
on his right foot there to curve it. But you go back and that half back there, the handball is still is an underrated skill, Liz. Yes. I know we take it for granted, but everyone should be able to handball both hands. But when you see someone like Caleb Sarong, and listeners, you need to go back and find this. This is one of the best handballs I've seen this weekend. His ability there to get his hands up and over and set the team in motion was unbelievable.
Walters from 40 through the glove, and that is no mistake. Straight through the middle. Fremantle have their third. 3-4-22. They lead the Tigers 1-3-9. 24 played in the opening quarter.
Yeah, you're spot on, Bally. It breaks open the play so well with guys that are good and sharp with their hands, doesn't it? And that to get over the man who was trying to tackle him, to get it to Chapman, and the ability of Emmett there to break that tackle. And Dow did a pretty good job of trying to wrap him up, but because they had the runners on the outside, he only had to get it out in front of him. And then Young, we spoke about, his right foot shoe to Luke Jackson, it just catches the defenders on the hop. What are you supposed to do as a Richmond defender there when it's streaming through and a player's got 1v none? Yep, going inside 450.
None preferred for Hayden Young, and beautiful pass. Fremantle generally this year haven't started games well. Only a couple of opening terms they've won. Jackson knocks it down, handball away to Brayshaw away. Shoes wrapped up. Stifled immediately by Richmond. A secondary ball up in the middle. Up it goes. Jackson and Nankervis. Jackson leaping, taps it down. Away to Marlon Pickett. He's tackled by a couple of Dockers. Ben says, have a good call, fellas. Feeding the sheep in the Barossa Valley.
Nice. Worst places to be.
Jackson again wins the tap, but Baker soccers it on for Richmond, getting back sharp. Takes the mark on the half-back flank for Fremantle.
Short kick to Ryan. It was actually called to play on in the end, so flares it to the right back pocket where Pearce takes the mark. Looking to steady things here for the Dockers. Short pass is okay to Sarong. He goes quickly, and Clark has it. Still just outside of defensive 50, so sharing the ball around here off half-back. He goes back to Pearce, who's 20 out from his defensive goal line. And Pearce wider still as the switch is on. And just a pause for a moment here. Draper takes the mark, and then he's undecided where to go. He looked back inside, but he's going to go towards the wing with a low kick. That was a turnover. There were two Tigers lining up for that, but about 10 metres off the contest. Free kick's been given away, and it'll go to Amos. Amos by hand to Young again. Darting left foot kick to Tracy, just over his head. Into the pocket it goes. Winning the race there was Broad, looking for the boundary line. He was tackled immediately. Siren beat everyone. And that is the end of the opening term here at the MCG. Richmond 1-3-9, leading Fremantle Fremantle leading 3-4-22. A 13-point margin. Lafau with the only goal for the Tigers. And singles to Darcy, Amos and Walters for the Dockers.
Great to have you with us on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Andrew Mays, Ben Cameron, Brett Delidio, Luke Ball, Ian Cohen between the benches. Greetings from the Kimberley. Enjoying the call out in the remote Kimberley, setting up for a camera shot of the meteor shower in the early morning of the hours tomorrow. Great to have you with us. Keep your text coming, 0437 774 774. Just the third opening term Fremantle have won this year. They lead by 13 points. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Sport and Spice brings you the big picture conversations and plenty of fun every week.
So you were peeing in a cup with Messi?
Yeah, basically I saw Messi's pee.
It's like I call it the race for $1 million.
After the competition, I probably ate like 500 nuggets at least.
I had to kind of secretly play football and then go off to my basketball game with a bit of dirt on my knees.
Hosted by me, Declan Byrne and Lavender Bai. Listen to Sport and Spice on the ABC Listen app or find it in the Best of ABC Sport folder wherever you get your podcasts.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every day match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Martin, this is where he can be at his dangerous best. What can he set up? Into the pocket he goes. Bolton was there, but Lafau takes it in front. Lovely kick. And Lafau can line up 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left. He's kicked 7 goals in his debut season. He strikes this one beautifully. What a start for the Tigers.
Always 50 metres, that's a gimme.
So Darcy took the intercept mark. It was off the instep. Then he got marched 50 metres. This from 30 out, directly in front. And he makes no mistake. Straight through the middle.
See Jared Gibbertson every time I see that five. Gibbo will be happy with this shout out as Amos in the leading lane, hit on the chest, and he takes the mark as he bangs bodies with a couple of Richmond players. On the goal kicking at Fremantle last year, 41 goals in his second year, usually reliable, starts at left, sneaks it through. Back-to-back majors for the Dockers. Well, I really rate this young fella. I think he's going to be a star.
To the run of Young, who then goes on his right boot. Lovely kick to Jackson. 55 from goal. They're out everywhere here, Freo. And the kicking board is good. And Walters takes it 35 out, slide angle to the left.
Caleb Sarong. Listeners, you need to go back and find this. This is one of the best handballs I've seen this weekend. His ability there to get his hands up and over and set the team in motion was unbelievable.
Walters from 40 through the glove, and that is no mistake. Straight through the middle, Fremantle have their third.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
It was 3-1 the way of the Purple in that opening term. Fremantle leading by 13 points at the first change. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. And the best experts in the game, the Richmond champion GWS player Brett Delidio and the Premiership pie Luke Ball.
Interesting quarter, Liz. You can clearly see what Fremantle are trying to do. And I think, we did the North St Kilda game yesterday. When you've got a team who's, I guess, lower on talent in a sense, Richmond's best chance today is to bring the game into a contest. I think more and more contest around the ground, forward of the ball. Bring the game, the dirty ball, bring the game into the contest, and try and fight and scrap their way to a winning score. As you can tell, that Freo clearly have gone in with a method to try and stretch the ground, really make it big. We talk about attacking with the big ground, so you can see when they win the ball across half-back, they fan out. There's a lot of switch kicks, and they're really trying to test this Richmond team defence, which is young and developing, as we know, under the new coach. And so, they've had 100. What have they had? They've had 100 possessions. And 45 uncontested marks.
Yeah,
and that's too many. From Richard's point of view, that's way too many. So that'll be high. That'll be on the board down in the Richmond huddle. What you'd love to see at times, I guess that 100 possessions really has only translated to 16 inside 50s and 3 goals. And that's the challenge. That's the next step in evolution for this Fremantle team. Okay, chip the ball around, but then at some stage, once they get the board forward of centre, you'd love to see them get it into motion, get the ball into Young, get the ball into Sarongs, get some energy on the ball, Frederick, these sort of types. Because we know they've got their targets ahead of the ball as well.
Yes.
They've got some tall targets and they've got some good ground level players. So that's the next step for them to be able to keep progressing their game, keep progressing their offence. Because every other part of their game is pretty sound. The midfield battle's interesting. I think, great to see Dustin Martin start on the ball and spend a lot of time through the middle of the ground. Had 10 possessions himself, 3 of those score involvement, so you know that usually when he gets the ball forward of centre, something good's going to happen. But as that quarter went on, you look at the other side of it, and Hayden Young's had 12 possessions, Caleb Sarong's had 12 possessions. You just feel like at some stage, Adamuze's going to have to pull a lever. He can't let a Hayden Young or a Caleb Sarong run around by themselves for the whole game. They've just shown to this point in the season in their careers, they're too dangerous. They cut you up too much. So he's going to have to keep an eye on that.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's a great question. Is it a Baker? Baker, 5 possessions. I know he's been in terrific form himself. Is it a young Sonsi?
But who do you go to? Like, you look at Young, who's had 12, but he's had 4 clearances of the 8 that Freo have had.
He's the one at the moment, I think. Sarong just accumulating, getting a bit of ball in the back half. Young's the one, and he's had 12. It was 100% for it before those last 2, but he's the one with the game-breaking, that you can picture that kick that set up the goal when he came inside on the right foot. So it's one to keep an eye on from a midfield point of view. If it starts to get away from them, he's going to have to pull a lever out of Adamuze. But
I don't think the Tigers do tag. They're more so run with, I think Marlon Pickett's the option.
Probably the one,
He'll come up, I would suggest, probably from a half-forward flank potentially, and then try and shut down to then not disrupt your midfield too much. But it's an interesting watch if the game does start to really slip away, and that's where you see the opportunity to tighten things up. But they've got to try and get to a more of a contest, don't they? And that's where I think they can tighten things up, but hard to do on the MCG.
The thoughts of Brett Delidio and Luke Ball here on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Dockers by 13, second term underway. Both rucks miss it. Shepherding free kick going against Sean Darcy, so Nankervis with it in the bullseye. A left foot kick inside, attacking 50, going back. Clark able to fist it down. Turning tackler is Ryan, and Cohen downstairs on the boundary.
Yeah, it was really pleasing seeing Nate Fife get around his teammates there. The Freo Dockers have said it's no problem. It's a short turnaround. Sydney next Friday night, and he's playing good football. Everything being done in consultation with the great Brownlow medalist.
Darcy wins the tap down onto it. Ralph Smith, flying shot on goal, floating on target, missing out to the right. A minor score. So just repeating the subs. Nat Fife starting as the sub for Fremantle, and for Richmond, Camden McIntosh. Fremantle by 2 goals, 45 seconds into the second term.
Chomping on a muesli bar in the back row, Nat Fife at the moment. So now Ryan from defence. Long kick looking for Tracy. Couldn't bring the ball to ground. Roving was the big man in Darcy. Got the hand pass away, and now ending up with it is Johnson, who takes a couple of bounces, runs through the middle, out wide to Amos, who has it 51 from goal. Tight angle, kick in, border. It was almost perfect, just cut off at the last moment. Chance now for the Tigers as Broad has it. Lowered his eyes. It wasn't the best kick. It'll bounce in front of Bolton, who's got a bit of a task. Was he taken without it? Yes. Smartly didn't take possession. And free kick going his way. He's had his shoe ripped off in the process. Bright blue
This is his
boot.
first one, Maisie.
And he's going to go on his kick with his sock, and it looked like it as well because he travelled about 40 metres. A little bit of a floater out wide and out for a boundary throw in left half forward for the Tigers.
He's not in a rush to get that boot back on. Watching him out there on the wing.
I did say earlier about kicking being hereditary. I should have said father or mother. Of course, absolutely. Lots of AFLW stars, I'm sure, teaching their kids at the moment. Can be fathers teaching daughters, as both of the boys in the box know, or mothers teaching sons these days, as Fremantle try to work it forward down the southern stand wing, but turn it over. And the mark taken by Grimes for Richmond at half back. He'll go back inside the defensive 50. Fremantle by 12 points.
Good kick as well, and mark taken going back with a flight there, Sons. His short pass is okay, and it finds Martin on centre wing. So this is the money kick going inside 50. He pulls it instead, goes a little shorter of Loston, who has it a couple of kicks from goal. Short option is Ralph Smith. He rewards his lead, and he now has it 60 from goal. Looking for an option. It's a crowded forward 50 for the Tigers. Heading towards the city end in their second term. He's just going to pop it to the top of the square. Try and grab that. And Curvis got a run at it in the end. Hand pass comes to Sonsi. Oh, kick was just smothered at the last moment. Lafau. Smart tap to Broad, who's a long way forward. Snaps towards goal. It almost floats in. Just the one behind. So a few shots for the Tigers. 1 goal, 5 now, 11. Freo 3-4, 22.
You're right, Ben. Mrs. Delidio, my mum, was a very good exponent of the drop punt. So she spent many hours out there chasing my ratty balls when I was a kid.
Did she?
She did. Loved it.
Often listens to us as well, Mrs. Delidio, doesn't she?
Yeah, she always gives me feedback. Always positive too from mum, which is great. I'm looking forward to Mother's Day in next weekend.
Quick turnover here from Walters, though, roving the pack. Chapman, Garrick Ibbotson, old number 5 on his back, wins a free kick on the logo. Fremantle leading by 11 points. Chapman drives a long ball inside 50. Jackson goes up off the hands of the pack, down at ground level. Young there for Richmond. Gets it off to Grimes, onto Rioli. Kicks out to the wing. Leading up. Naismith able to mark backward of halfway on that southern side of the ground. Still 11 points, Fremantle's advantage.
Short kick to Daniel Rioli. Wasn't the best, but Rioli was able to make good of it. He has it just behind centre wing. Martin presenting. He now has the footy. Still on centre wing here, the Tigers, underneath the Shane Warne stand. Long kick across the face of goal to Miller. Miller out wider still. He's come to right half back. Ball bouncing to the advantage there of Grimes, who pulls the kick inboard. It's a good one too to Broad, who can launch. Goes by hand instead, out wider still to Loston. Money kick inside 50. Wasn't the greatest, but mark has been taken by Thompson down. The mark's going to be set right on the 50-metre line. Short ball to Martin, who was all on his own. You wouldn't want it in anyone else's hands except on that occasion where he flares it to the right. One behind. 5 minutes played, second turn. It's been Richmond doing all the attacking. 1-6-12. They trail Freo 3-4-22.
Yeah, just let him off the hook a bit here, the Tigers. Sloppy start to this second quarter from the Dockers. Poor checking, poor marking.
Luke Ryan in the peroxide blonde hair with a long kick in, free kick going the way of Tracy. What a find this guy's been. A rookie draft pickup and really looking like a key forward target for the Dockers. Gives it off to Chapman. Handball to O'Meara on the wing. Comes infield with the kick to Johnson. Red footy in action today at the MCG. A pure day game. He stabs it on short to Sarong. Been really busy early on. Chips it inside 50. Cold turnover. Straight to Thompson Dow. Richmond back with it at centre-half back.
Daniel Rioli takes a bounce. Thought about a second. He goes as long as he can instead. Inside attacking 50. Lafau did well to make a contest, not give away the free. Punched away into the path of Pearce, who has it off to Clark and now to Sarong. Another stab kick. And is it a turnover? Not quite. He was pushed in the back, was he? Or afterwards. It will be a down the field free kick to Clark.
Oh, gee, there wasn't much in that. He just shanked the kick. I thought the kick was under pressure, but he's had a couple of bad moments, Caleb Sarong.
Clark to Ryan at centre half back. Ryan out further still to left half back where Aish has it. Aish has O'Meara as the option. Forward of centre wing, hits him with the pass. And then O'Meara into the forward pocket. Wasn't the greatest kick, but again, presenting as he often does is Tracy, and he has it. Right on 50, about 15 metres inside the boundary. This will take his best.
Yeah, he's certainly got the journey. Those big tree trunk legs. They call him Big Kahuna, Vinny, is it?
Yep, he's from Kahuna.
Yeah, read a good piece this morning. Had a big pre-season, big off-season. Spent the old pre-season playing on Alex Pearce.
Just presents. That's what you want from your big forwards. Gives you a contest.
So he's actually called to play on as he darted out wide early. It's coming back, a long kick. Didn't have the journey. Jackson's taken the mark in the goal square. Juggling effort, which took it outside, so he's going to have to snap this. But Luke Jackson, another opportunity here for Freo.
It's the first one he's grabbed, and he's jumped at a lot of balls today, and they haven't quite stuck for him. If he can get his hands on, he's going to be a very dangerous player in this game and forever.
Left forward pocket slams it into the post. So the juggling marking attempt just took him outside the goal square onto the angle, and he misses. Freo's first score of the quarter, 1-6-12 the Tigers, playing 3-5-22 the Dockers.
Oh, the kick in from short just finds Martin. That punt road end's meant to be the shorter end, isn't it, Lids?
City end.
Oh, City end. My mistake. That's why it didn't make the journey. Martin, his kick smothered. It ends up in the hands of Miller. Now short under pressure. Caught holding the ball. Amos got him. Fremantle in possession, right half forward. Amos will kick towards full forward. Tracy and Jackson upstairs. No mark, Vlauston Robes in his left back pocket. He's taken to ground. Fremantle by 11 points. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. We've played 8 minutes in this second term.
3-5 plays 1-6. Tossed up in the forward pocket. Curvis won it down. Trying to break through there was Emin. He was pushed off it at the last moment. Richmond will do well to rush this. They do. Martin socketed into the post. One behind, a rushed behind. It's been all behinds in this second term so far. 3 for Richmond and a couple for Fremantle. Margin 2 straight kicks, 8 minutes play.
Short kick in to the pocket and Sonzi stabs it on to Tyler Young. Still inside the defensive 50. 12 points, Fremantle's advantage. Short again by Miller to Jaden Short. Calf injury against the West Coast Eagles. Missed the game against Melbourne. Kicks right back inside defensive 50 across the goal mouth. Finds its way to Miller. He'll stab it up towards the wing and Broad. So slow play here for Richmond. Backward of halfway on the southern side.
Broad to Dow, who took it really cleanly at ground level on the half volley. Stabs it inboard. Mark taken by Grimes. Grimes will go back to Miller.
What a great game at the moment.
It's a bit like soccer at the moment, isn't it? It's really
similar to last night, actually.
Yeah, second quarter last night. Snooze.
All being in perfect conditions.
Let's hope we get a goal. So now Vlauston off the outside of the boot. He's missed the target. Darcy has it on the bounce for Freo. And now Clark. And Clark goes short. And the mark is taken by Draper. He goes back inside defensive 50. Off to Ryan, who Has a bounce, still bereft of options. He doesn't know where to go, so he's going to turn back and go to Clark. Left forward pocket, and the free kick conceded there by Lafau, who just collected him front on. Let's head downstairs, Ian Cohen.
Yes, there's some concern with Jaden Short. He's just gone down into the rooms with the Richmond doctor at the moment. Came off under his own steam, but obviously a level of concern for the 15.
Yeah, coming back from that calf injury as well. The kick from Clark just trickles out alongside Bailey Banfield, trying to come between wing and half forward for Richmond.
That wasn't an attack on soccer, by the way. It was more just the defensive style of play that we're seeing, the chipping backward and forwards. Just want to clarify that before we get an abundance of text messages.
Like when they just pass it around along the defensive line and slowly build up the attack. Banks comes away with the footy, handball out towards Thompson Dow, takes it out again. Another throw to come. Fremantle by 12 points.
At some stage you've got to back your players ahead of the ball, don't you? I mean, we spoke about that. Freo, that's been the knock on them a bit. They've been trying to bring it into the game a bit. They've got key targets, get some speed, get some energy on the ball.
Toss back into play. Darcy down. Now Bolton couldn't quite gather the bouncing ball. Then he's taken off it. Rioli smartly didn't take possession, but he turned it over by hand. Now Sarong has it for the Dockers, coming the other way to Ryan, who's had enough of it. He goes long inside 50. Couple of options out the back. One of them's Amos, and he takes the mark on his chest.
He's the goal. We've seen the first bit of direct play for the quarter, haven't we? And that's, look what it results in, the ability to get an inside forward 50 and a shot on goal. I've sung this kid's praises a couple of times, Bally. He just continues to present and give himself opportunities. It reminds me of playing with the guy, Matty Richardson, and Nick Rewalt for you probably. Just constantly hitting up and asking questions of their defenders, but being there on the end for a kick.
56 goals in his 32nd game. Slow approach. Crosses the paint of 50. High kick from Amos. It's way to the right. In fact, he's tugged that so badly, it's hit the point post on the full, out of bounds.
Well, his nickname's meant to be Nev, sort of Nev Amos.
Yeah.
But
is that your nickname for him, or everyone calls him Nev?
That's what Fremantle call him.
Okay.
I want to throw one open on the SMS line in a moment as well. Baker kicking Richmond up to the southern wing. No mark taken out there down at ground level. Ralph Smith onto it. Handball away towards Campbell, who gets it onto Rioli. He'll kick across the centre square. Bouncing ball here for Young. Gathers the footy. Loops it over the top for Baker. He can look inside 50. Floating ball. Turnover. Ryan Marks. Fremantle by 12 points. 0437 774 774. What I want to know, best kicks you've seen.
Chance for the Dockers here in the middle through Brayshaw. Kick out wide is okay, and the mark is eventually taken by Frederick, who can try and pick a pass inside attacking 50. He's 60 from goal. He's just going to pop it to the top of the square into the pocket. Tracy! Lovely mark. Couple deep in that pack, and it was crashed. Amos, another high flyer.
Oh, he wasn't. He got knocked on his backside there, Maisie. He went to try and jump at it, but got completely checked off the ball. I thought if that wasn't marked, it was probably going to be his free kick. I think the umpire just paid the mark instead.
Yeah, Young.
Was it Young, was it?
Yep, in the contest.
Young got a miss, yeah.
Yep. So now Tracy with the chance. Right forward pocket, lines up and kicks it. So finally we have our first in this second term. It's taken 13 and a half minutes. Fremantle move to 4-6-30. Richmond 1-6-12. Listening to Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it's been hard work, hasn't it, Lids? And in the end it needed a contested mark. I was about to be critical of the two key forwards for Fremantle, just standing in the goal square, waving the ball in, but in the end it's worked out okay. But a nice chain of hands through the middle of the ground. Brayshaw involved. Just working a little bit harder at the moment, Fremantle. A lot more Fremantle jumpers in the screen, presenting there for their teammates and Richmond jumpers, and just weight of numbers in the air. It's a good mark, isn't it? It really is.
Great mark.
Yeah, he's clunked that, and he is in good form.
I got asked that question to Benny yesterday at a president's function that I was at. Who was
I look at him in the mirror every morning.
You wanker. No, mate, I didn't.
Restart in the middle, winning it down. His name Curvis, but Fremantle are there quickly. Young able to grab it, loses it momentarily. Quick tackle on Dow and a ball up to come again in the middle. Lots of text coming through on the best kick. It's a real talkback SMS line staple, isn't it? As Nankervis wins the tap again, but Brayshaw picks it up for the Dockers, gives it off to Young. High kick into the forward pocket, bouncing ball. Onto it, Young, his kick smothered, whistle on the play. Free kick, it'll come back and go the way of Richmond. Ian Cohen downstairs.
Yeah, good news for the Tigers. They're so inexperienced they could ill afford to lose Jaden Short, but Jaden Short is back on the ground.
Went to Emmett, in fact. The umpire.
It was. The umpire pointed the wrong way.
Yeah.
It was a push against. I was looking at going, how did Richmond end up with that? Because Emmett was the one that flew forward through the contest.
Yeah, it's from Broad. Broad gave Emmett a big shove, trying to clear him out of the way. Give Young a free kick at it.
Tommy Emmett, 45-degree angle, boot the ball from 45. His drop punt is just hooking a little too far left. Minor score, Fremantle by 19, quarter hour mark. Second term Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Great to have your company.
Ball to come back in. Floston has it. Short kick, too short. Right back pocket, takes the mark, goes immediately. Long kick to the wing. The foul will try and fly. Coming across the front was Jackson. Couldn't complete the mark at ground level. O'Meara ensures it's going nowhere. We'll have a stoppage on the wing.
You're right, Lids. He's launching a lot, Luke Jackson. Getting his hands to a lot. They're just not sticking today.
Oh, when do they? I haven't seen him doing a lot.
Question. Yeah, that's the opportunity for him.
Baker with the hand pass straight back to Nankervis, and he's taken immediately. We'll have another stoppage. Freo gain about 15 or 20 metres. Tossed up. Jackson from behind reaches over the top. Nankervis at ground level though. Now free kick going the way of Fremantle for O'Meara. So too high in that contest. It was obviously called from the outer zone umpire. Inboard to Chapman on centre wing here at the MCG. Flares it to left half forward to Sarong, and he goes wider still. Brayshaw has it. Points to the top of the square. So he's just going to drive this one low and hard. Can anyone take the mark? Not quite on that occasion. At ground level, they gather. Amos, he's dispossessed. Banfield was looking for a friend, couldn't find one. Gave it straight up by hand to Short, who kicks it out, and a big fist over the top from Clark ensures that's going nowhere. And we'll have a ball in left half forward here for the Dockers. 17 played second term, and they lead by 19.
Brett Delidio and Luke Ball, your experts here on Sunday footy on ABC Sport. First of 3 games on the Sunday slate. All of them here on ABC Sport. Jackson bringing it down. Johnson can't gather it. Short can. He'll snap the Tigers towards the wing. Bouncing ball. Clark leads the race. Fremantle back in possession. 1-2 with Brayshaw. Forward handball to Johnson. Left half forward, nowhere to go. Goes back towards Brayshaw. He'll kick long inside 50 for the Dockers. Looking for a marker. Amos. Lots of it. Doesn't complete it. Lost and Robes for Richmond. Clear and kick a turnover. Sarong marks. Back inside 50. Sharp bobs up. Hugs it to his chest. 40 out. Plum in front.
I'll tell you what I love about Caleb Sarong is he moves the ball on quick. You know, he's always looking to take it to the game. Doesn't wait to go backwards and sideways. Even that kick he had just out here on the boundary went really quickly to Brayshaw. You know, and that one there turns, looks inside, sees Sharp straight away. Yep. Is it Sharp? Yeah, Sharp.
Yeah, he's super clean hands, doesn't fumble Sarong, and it gives him the ability then to be able to make a quick decision next and set his teammate up for a shot at goal.
Former son, 23 games over 3 years. Played every game this year at the Dockers. And he just gets it through. Fremantle are rolling now, the last 5 goals of the match. And they lead by a game-high 25 points, 5-7-37. Plays 1-6-12, 19 minutes into the second. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Brett Delidio, Luke Ball.
Well, disposals are even in this quarter, Bally, but I just feel like, what's the tackles there you're pointing to? 11-1.
One for the quarter.
Fremantle on Richmond.
20 minutes in.
And it's not like they're dominating possession nor the scoreboard, the Tigers, so there's no real reason why they haven't tackled. That's a real concern for Adam Uze. No doubt he'll be looking to address it at half-time.
Grabbed at the jumper as well.
Yeah.
Pretty happy in the purple and white. Jeremy Sharp was from East Fremantle in the WAFL.
Back in the middle. Tap one down there by the Dockers. Oh, Rioli was excellent coming off half forward. He then spun into trouble, conceded the free kick, holding the ball. They're away now. Walker drives it inside 50, long to the top of the square. No mark taken. Jackson at ground level, gathers, snaps and misses. Oh, should have gobbled that one up. I know he's running into the forward pocket, but couldn't bring it back enough. One behind. Margin, 26 points in favour of the Dockers.
He's comfortable at times with the ball on the ground, isn't he, Luke Jackson? We've spoken about his hands not being sharp above his head today.
Banks running the wing. Long kick towards half forward for Richmond. Ryan there to sort it out for the Dockers. Handball into congestion. Brayshaw going after it. Getting involved too. Sonzi. Neither can strip it from the other, so a ball up, attacking point of the square for Richmond. Put aloft. And Curvis trying to take it out of the ruck. Met by Emmett. Now it spills out towards Johnson. Still on the attacking point of the square. Marlon Pickett going in. Shovels it out. Banfield onto it for Fremantle. Runs a little arc. Kicks around the edge of the square. Forward to the wing. Jackson underneath it. In a wrestle over his head. It'll tumble out. Trying to come between wing and half forward for the Dockers.
Give us some good kickers, BC.
Yeah, Dave Mundy, suggested by Smithy.
Very sound. He was my full-back in the under-18s, would you believe?
Yeah. Was he?
For the Murray Bushrangers.
Yeah. Darren Jarman from Brendan in Hobart.
Yep.
Leon Cameron, your former
mates.
coach from Paul in Perth.
Taken in the tackle immediately was Johnson. He just got it out at the last moment. Richmond fans wanting holding the ball. Now Darcy reaches over the top, goes back into congestion. Trying to rip it out was Brayshaw. He was taken high. Umpire wave play on. It's back in the scramble again, and we'll have a stoppage left half forward. So Sarong over the top there. Could have been pinged for 2-eye as well. Darcy won it down on that occasion to Sarong. He just got his hands free. Off to Banfield and now to Johnson, who fires them inside 50 into the sun. Now, umpire calls play on. A snap around the corner from Simpson. He's not bringing that one around and hits the fat side of the ball. Out of bounds on the full in the left forward pocket. So a chance here for the Tigers.
So Grimes to have it. Dan in Seymour says, cannot go past Jason Ackermanis in his prime, either foot.
He was good.
Grimes short to of Loston in the back pocket. Seymour, the hometown of David Mundy, and also now Sam Durham. What a player he's become for the Dons as Short kicks back across the goal mouth, and in the back pocket Young will look up towards the wing. Good delivery to Sonzi. Defensive point of the square for the Tigers. Kicks out in front of Naismith. Marlon Pickett, running room for him. Receives the handball. Couple of bounces around the boundary. Centering kick. Is it a good one? Over the head of Baker. Onto the chest of Ralph Smith. 30 out directly in front. Richmond from the back pocket to full forward, and Ralph Smith to shoot on goal.
That's more like it, isn't it? It's been a pretty sort of pedestrian quarter, really, from the Tigers to this point.
Yeah.
But that time they were really able to get some overlap and run and energy on the ball, like we've been talking about. Good stuff from Pickett. Took the space in front of him and a nice centering kick.
Richmond kicked the first goal of the game. Fremantle 5 cents. Ralph Smith's set shot is flared out right. Bad miss. It's been 47.5 minutes of game time since that McKelty-Lafau goal 2 minutes into the game. Freo by 25 points.
Short kick in from Aish. Left back pocket. Ryan takes the mark. Ryan has Chapman short. And that's where he heads in the end. Still inside defensive 50. Johnson makes a lead. That's ignored. So he just pauses. Ryan's moved to the boundary line further forward. He's ignored as well. Off to the wing. Now a chance for Jackson. Got separation. Still not grabbing it. Was able to gather at ground level though. Gave it to the running Walters, who takes a bounce over halfway. Short kick is good. He finds Amos. Too far out to score. Amos looking for that target inside 50. Walters thought he was impeded by Grimes. He goes back at him. Having a bit of a wrestle off the ball here. Amos, meanwhile, to the top of the square. Jackson couldn't get a run at it. And cutting across and taking the mark is Loston.
I've been in that position where Sonny Walters was trying to get past Dylan Grimes. There's no point, mate. Just give up.
Loston tight ropes the boundary line.
We're on track for the... What's the shortest quarter on record?
Yesterday's second quarter.
Yeah. 24.5 minutes in here as Young goes with a long kick up towards the wing, and Coming down with it, Naismith, stripped of it by Young. Forward handball for the Dockers. Grimes, big tackle on Johnson. Pole drives him into the ground. All fair.
Nice tackle, Dylan. Third for the quarter for the Tigers. Just a third tackle.
We'll check the length of the...
Where's that been?
Sorry, Bawley. We'll check the length of the quarter yesterday, second term. Emmett can't emerge with the footy after the ball up. Bawley calling for more of that physicality from Richmond.
Well, they've doubled their tackle count for the quarter in the last 10 seconds.
25 points, Fremantle's advantage. No decisive tap, and Johnson tackling, and another ball up. Ian Cohen.
I've been watching Dylan Grimes for a little while. He's certainly taken angry pills in the last 10 minutes. Sonny was on the end of it, and now obviously big tackles. So Luke Jackson, good luck.
Darcy tried to win the clearance. It's socked away this time by Brayshaw. Inside attacking 50. Runs onto his own footy as well. Then he's tackled immediately. Ball spilt free. And spilled over the boundary line for a ball in. Richmond fans not happy. Left forward pocket here for the Dockers.
Yeah, Gronzi, one of the most intense units that I ever played with. Doesn't matter whether it's training, weights, or out there playing. Badman.
Thrown back into play. Smartly, Nankervis just takes it out of the ruck. Absorbs a little bit of time as well as we tick down here in the second term. 25 minutes, 22 seconds for the second term. We've gone past that, unfortunately, Bawley, but only by 40 seconds.
Just that last...
In the ruck contest, there's a free kick here.
Well, there is too.
For Darcy and 50.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to be marched all the way to the goal line.
Wow, I must admit, lads, I'd switched off. I'd almost put the cans down for the half, but what happened then?
I've got no idea.
Richmond supporters will be furious here.
Suggest it was dissent, wouldn't it? It'd have to be.
So he paid the 50. He paid the free kick pretty soon, and then the 50. And now Darcy's going to kick the easiest of goals, his second for the afternoon, and extend the margin right on half time to 31 points for the Dockers. 1-7-13 the Tigers, 6-8-44 now the Dockers with some assistance after the siren. So fair enough, he paid the free kick immediately, but then obviously, as quick as he paid the free kick, he paid the 50. Yep. So that suggests there would be some feedback there from the Richmond players, and he's paid dissent.
Yeah, it's not a great way to finish the half, is it? No. Let's be honest.
We'll try and get more clarity around that and have a look at the replay, but Fremantle 3 goals to zip in that second term. They've kicked 6 unanswered after Richmond kicked the first goal of the game 2 minutes into it through McKelty Lafau. So he's their only goal kicker. Then, as Maisie just mentioned, Darcy with a couple, Tracy, Amos, Walters and Sharp, the goal kickers for Fremantle to lead by 31 points at the half. Brett Delidio, the Richmond champ, GWS player, and Luke Ball, their premiership pie, are with us.
Yeah, that always makes me laugh. Played for Richmond, yeah, but just a player at the Giants.
No, Richmond champion.
To work on the intros.
No. I asked the boys to do that because I love it.
Corbin went with it, and it's become a thing on Corbin and Ben, the future award-winning podcast. What did you make of the first half, gents?
It was a tough watch, especially that second quarter at times, Bawley, and there was a lot of chip mark, slow play, not exciting ball use, but I think what I can see the Dockers trying to do is grind this game into a halt, essentially, for the Tigers. Make them defend, make them, really trying to stretch that ground, hold on to the footy, don't get into a contest where Richmond are strong, but not it's not their one wood, of course, but they're going to give themselves more of an opportunity if they can get into the contest, but they're denying the footy, essentially, and playing it on their terms.
Yeah, well, we spoke, that quarter was a really strange one. We spoke at quarter time about Freo's ability to control the footy and their want to spread the ground and attack with the big ground and just test out Richmond's young players in particular in their team defence, and they had 42 uncontested marks in the first quarter, 100 possessions. Well, Richmond were able to restrict that at least that quarter. It was back to 25 from the Dockers' point of view, but there wasn't much to the game in terms of contest. It was a really low clearance. Other than that last minute, really,
yeah.
There was no clearance. It was like they had 2 tackles to the 24-minute mark of that quarter. That is concerning. Fremantle had 20, so it wasn't like there weren't opportunities, as you said. It was really Freo's ability at times throughout that quarter just to chain through the middle of the ground and get some score opportunities through committing numbers to the contest and running and overlapping and supporting their teammates. And really, other than that last shot at goal from Hugo Rell-Smith, which really should have knocked over, you can't picture a time where Richmond were able to do that, in that quarter in particular. So you just love to see them throw the shackles off after half time now. I mean, that goal hurts because as bad as they played the Tigers, they were still within 4 goals. So you'd love to see the shackles being thrown off and Adam Uzo saying, right, let's take a few risks now and risk, losing by a little bit more.
Do you think they're not already doing that? I'm just not sure that they've got the experience or maybe the talent out there at the moment is just not warranting or allowing them to really break open the game.
Well, you talk about talent, so who can do it? I mean, Shea Bolton's had 3 possessions for the half, 1 kick, so he's one that they need to somehow find a way to inject in the game. Mansell's a nippy little play. He's only had 2 possessions.
Yeah. In Bolton's defence, though, like he's played forward or forward half, and they've had 13 inside 50s.
Yeah, well, he has to go on the ball then. He has to start on the ball
totally agree.
This quarter and try and get them going in some sort of way. Rioli, 11. Liam Baker's another one. He's only had 8, so he's down on his output for the last month. So really, you are looking. You're right. Okay, we know where they're at from a talent point of view and an injury point of view. So you do need these quality, more experienced players to recognise that and take the moment a little bit. So I mean I guess that's a positive or one way you could look at it for this second half. They're only 5 goals down. They haven't really let Freo get away from them too much. Can these players inject themselves into the game and try and sort of light a bit of a fuse, because it's been pretty pedestrian, as I said, to this first or to half time from Richmond's point of view.
The thoughts of Luke Ball and Brett Delidio here on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. So just the 50-metre penalty there, Maisie.
Yeah, so it wasn't in fact dissent. What had happened was Thompson ended up in possession of the footy. He thought it was half-time, went to walk off and he's chucked the footy away.
So in fairness, I don't know, maybe the umpire can just...
A bit of common sense there, boy. You're a former umpire's boss. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, there's 2 things. Thompson down, you got to play to the whistle. So you heard the whistle and the free kick.
Yeah, the argument
but we saw it yesterday.
The siren's gone, so he's played to the siren.
But free kicks obviously before the siren. We saw it yesterday. How many players just dropped the ball?
Yeah, silly.
Since when's that become a thing? When a free kick or a mark's been paid. How many 50-metre penalties? And it was North. So it's these young, inexperienced teams just having those brain fades and those lapses of concentration. You just don't see that with the experienced quality teams, do you, when it costs you a goal?
There's actually a text that's come in that said Richmond appear to be the most ill-disciplined team. Any reason for that? Week after week, stupid free kicks and 50s. That's anonymous. Remember to leave your name and number, but that is someone's take on the...
I haven't seen it as much of late, but I know certainly... Back when I was playing and then after I left, that we used to have some real issues with it to the point where the numbers either side of the person who gave away the 50, down you go 5 a.m. into the bay. So that thing got stopped real quick.
What do you mean the numbers either side?
So Dusty did it, and I had to go down with him.
And so did number 5.
And so did number 5, me and Brando. And with Dusty to go and have a nice little dip. And if you were unlucky, like one that was not really there, well, you
plead your case and
you'd be spewing.
Oh, really? Okay, bad luck.
One size fits all.
What's the thinking behind putting the 2 people either side, just so your locker buddies really let you know to
just make you feel a bit worse?
It's trying to make you more accountable, so it's not just giving it away and thinking nothing's going to happen. And then we try to hold each other accountable, I suppose. But I like it. Look, it's we didn't get to the point of doing the schnitzel down there, that's for sure. But we certainly had to get in the cold water.
Best kicks? I don't think you actually got to who yours was, Lids.
I went with yesterday, overall, the best kick that I played with, left and right, Lockie Whitfield. But I could make a case for Nathan Brown, probably left and right as well. He was brilliant by foot. Josh Kelly, pretty silk as well. But Jezza Cameron's not too bad either on that left shoe. But, I think Lockie, both left and right, probably the best for me.
What about you, Bawley?
I'm glad Darren Jarman got a mention. I was a Hawks supporter growing up. Him and Darren Pritchard were responsible for a huge portion of Jason Dunstall's 1,200 goals. There's no doubt about that. But actually, Leon Davis was an unbelievable kick. Played with him for those couple of years at Collingwood, so he's one that stands out. And you saw it on game day, but just at training, the blokes at training, and you just hear it come off his boot.
Yeah.
99% of the time, they were just absolute darts. So
Sicily's like that at Hawthorn.
He is. Yep.
Lindsay Gilby had that too.
Yeah, Gills, they smack it off the boot.
I like this one from Joe in sunny Bendigo. Bernie Quinlan, super boot. Once saw him kick a goal from 50 and it was still on the upwards trajectory when crossing the goal line And I like this one as well. Graham Moss, a beautiful kicker of the ball, but the best kick of all time would have to be Malcolm Blight. That's from Clinton, as I said. I've got to admit, I used to work with Blighty, and on the second day we worked together, he brought in a highlights video, and we sat down and watched it. It went for an hour and a half. And he was a good kick of the footy, Malcolm Blight. I can say that with confidence after watching that video. I've got another question for the experts, which we'll get to a little later on. But right now, at halftime and Fremantle leading by 31 points, we can pause and get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The WA Police Commissioner says people who raise concerns about public safety before a knife attack in Perth's south last night should be commended. A 16-year-old boy was shot by police and later died in hospital after allegedly attacking people with a kitchen knife at Willetton. Police say they were notified of the potential attack from members of Perth's Muslim community who the teenager had reached out to. Police Commissioner Col Blanche says they couldn't have acted so quickly without their help.
We believe he sent relevant messages to some of those members who immediately responded by calling police. And again, I do want to thank members of the Muslim community who did that, because that enabled us to identify rapidly who this individual was and respond as quick as we did.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has been briefed on the incident by the domestic spy agency ASIO and the Federal Police. He says there's no ongoing threat to the community. Mr Albanese says violent extremism has no place in Australia, and his thoughts are with those affected by the incident. The federal government is set to change the way indexation is calculated on HECS debts, saving students hundreds of dollars on their tertiary loans. Last year was the second biggest rise on record at 7.1%. The policy will be backdated to counteract the rise that was caused by high inflation. Education Minister Jason Clare says the measure will be part of cost of living relief in the upcoming budget.
Make sure that we wipe out what happened last year and put in law the things that we need to put in law to make sure that it never happens again.
4 bodies that were discovered in a remote section of Mexico's Baja California coastline yesterday are being forensically tested amid speculation that 2 of them are the remains of missing Australian brothers. Here's North America correspondent Carrington Clark.
Authorities say the bodies were discovered about 2 kilometres from a campsite being used by Australian brothers Callum and Jake Robinson, who were travelling with American Jack Carter Road. The campsite had been destroyed by fire and human remains have been discovered. Authorities say the bodies haven't been formally identified, but evidence suggests that 3 are linked to the disappearances. The 4th body appears to have been there for longer, and it's unclear how it's connected. Carrington Clark, ABC News, Baja, California.
Authorities in Brazil say at least 57 people have died in widespread flooding in the country's south. Another 70 people are reported missing as torrential rain destroys roads, bridges and homes in the state of Rio Grande do Sul. At least 1 dam in the region has suffered a partial collapse and a number of others are at risk of failing. Victor Vicarelli lives in the regional capital, Porto Alegre, and says the situation there is dire.
We are very, very afraid at the moment. The water does not stop rising, and water has invaded the downtown area of Porto Alegre, a city established over 250 years ago, not only hurting and killing many, many people, but destroying hundreds of years of history.
The opposition Labour Party in Britain has secured major wins in local council elections in a blow to the governing Conservative Party. Labour took 10 of 11 English mayoral races, including in the City of London, where Sadiq Khan was re-elected for an unprecedented 3rd term. Mr Khan says Londoners have chosen a brighter future.
Once again, you've proved that London is a city of progress, a city of pluralism, and above all, a city of possibility. A beacon for openness, inclusion and equality across the world.
The South Australian government will update laws against stalking offences to make prosecutions simpler and to give better protections to victims. The Attorney-General, Kayam Ma, says women's support services will be consulted as part of the process. He says the legal threshold to prove the offence of stalking or harassment will be lowered. Mr Ma also says the updated laws will cover the use of social media to harass victims.
to include things like electronic devices for location surveilling, the use of social media in stalking and harassment. We want to make sure that our laws are fit for purpose and keeping up to date with changing technologies.
And Canadian golfer Taylor Pendrith holds a one-stroke lead after 3 rounds of the PGA Tour's Byron Nelson event in Texas. The 32-year-old sits at 19 under par ahead of Americans Jake Knapp and Ben Coles. Minwoo Lee is the best-placed Australian, moving up the leaderboard to be 6 shots off the pace at 13 under. Fellow Australian and defending champ Jason Day posted an even par 71 to sit at 6 under. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
Hey Google, play the footy on the ABC.
Did you know you can now listen to the footy on your smart speaker?
Oh, that is amazing!
Play ABC AFL.
Time to steady and pull the trigger!
Get the best call, the biggest experts in the game, every round of the AFL season.
Can he bend it back? You bet he can!
On your favourite station, ABC Radio. Your home for footy. Now on your smart speaker. This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Some concern with Jayden Short. He's just gone down into the rooms with the Richmond doctor at the moment. Came off under his own steam, but obviously a level of concern for the 15.
60 from goals, just going to pop it to the top of the square into the pocket. Tracy! Lovely mark. Couple deep in that pack, and it was crashed. Right forward pocket, lines up, and kicks it. So finally we have our first in this second term. It's taken 13 and a half minutes.
Clear and kick a turnover. Sarong marks, back inside 50. Sharp bobs up, hugs it to his chest, 40 out, plumb in front.
Tell you what I love about Caleb Sarong is he moves the ball on quick. You know, he's always looking to take it to the game, doesn't wait.
Former son, 23 games over 3 years. Played every game this year at the Dockers. And he just gets it through. Fremantle are rolling now, the last 5 goals of the match. And they lead by a game-high 25 points.
In the ruck contest, there's a free kick here.
Well, there is too.
For Darcy and 50.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to be marched all the way to the goal line.
Wow-wee.
Now Darcy's going to kick the easiest of goals, his second for the afternoon, and extend the margin right on half-time to 31 points for the Dockers.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Great to have you with us for Sunday footy on ABC Sport, the first of 3 games on your Sunday here on ABC Sport. So coming up much later tonight, we've got the Q Clash, Damien Hardwick's first Q Clash, the match between the Gold Coast Suns and Brisbane at the Gabba, and the Western Bulldogs and Hawthorn to immediately follow this match. It is the Dockers leading by 31 points, 6-8-44, plays 1-7-13. Richmond's lowest ever first half score against the Dockers, and Fremantle's best first half against Richmond since 2014. It's also the first time that the Tigers have been goalless under Adam Uze. So this season, a goalless term. They kicked 4 behinds, while Fremantle kicked 3 goals. 4. Lots of text rolling in on the SMS line, 0437 774 774. Robin Greensborough, Borley, I think he agrees with you. So Thompson Dow gave away a 50-metre penalty on the stroke of half-time. Thompson Dow dropping that ball because he thought it was dead. Sounds a lot like Johnny Bairstow getting stumped. No one to blame but himself, from Rob in Greensborough. So keep those texts coming. There's another SMS here. I've got to try and find it. They didn't want me to answer this. This was strongly in the text. Question for the experts. Then in brackets, not Ben, with an exclamation mark. Why do the teams who have the ball at true centre-half forward then kick wide to the half-back flank, only to then kick it back to centre-half back? To the untrained eye, it just gives the defence more time to get back and better positioning.
How do you go from centre-half forward to half-back flank, then back to centre-half back?
I think what he means, so yeah, you turn it over, true centre-half back, so they get the ball in the middle of the ground. I like it. We've observed that a couple of times, even with Fremantle, when they've gone wide and tried to switch. I think, generally speaking, if you switch the ball, you only do it to a player who can play on and take space and really access the open side of the ground. The frustrating one is a couple of times they've won the ball back across half-back, and that's usually when the opposition's team defence is out of position. So that's the best opportunity to be able to counter-attack through the middle of the ground most of the time.
It depends on how quick that turnover is too, Bally. Whether if it's a slow turnover where the opposition are laying on top of you or the ball's gone away or whatever, then it is going to be that slow play. But I think that kick wide is to shift the defence, to get all of the opposition to roll over to that sort of try and clog it up.
Yeah, and you'll be able to get away with it against a team like Richmond, a young, developing team. But you watched the two teams last night, the two best defences in the competition. If you're going to go sideways, backwards against Melbourne, you will never score.
Yes.
You just won't score. So they've got away with it a few times today. Fremantle, I think that first quarter, being able to sort of stretch the ground and then after going sideways or back and switching, being able to pick their way through kick and mark. You just won't be able to do that against good teams. So at some stage you have to get some energy on the ball and get some run and overlap. And they were able to do that a couple of times that quarter and it resulted directly in goals.
Yep.
It's still not really flowing for them yet though. And that's probably the result's been a pretty ordinary game to watch to this point. Richmond, you'd love to see them have a go at that this quarter, Richmond.
Geez, I'm in Simon's gun. He's texting again. He said, Ben read the text out wrong.
Oh, dear.
I knew what you were talking about, Simon.
Don't worry, Simon. Yeah. I'll win you over, hopefully. A few texts coming through here. Lads, best commentators and opinion in the game. But far out, no one talking about Taylor Walker on the left. His kick against Alira last year was one of the best you'll ever see, and it's not uncommon for him. That's from Andrew in Adelaide.
He is a beautiful kick, Tex.
Yeah, he loves to roll. Remember Warren Treadway used to do that too? He's actually a better kick on the left. You'd roll around from 60 and bang it on the left. Taylor Walker can do that too. Good call.
Yeah, keep your texts coming. Best kicks you've seen, 0437 774 774.
Another
Fremantle.
good one downstairs. Bob Murphy.
Yeah, Bob Murphy.
Kick.
Smooth mover. Good kick. Fremantle by 31 points. 6:8:44 play. Richmond 1-7-13. Great to have your company on Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Round 8 from the MCG. Hawthorn and the Bulldogs to follow. And then a Sunday night Q clash between Brisbane and the Gold Coast Suns. Ben Cameron, Andrew Mays, Brett Delidio, Luke Ball.
Shea Bolton starting in the centre bounce. Lids.
Yeah. Good move.
Get your best players in the ball.
Get him involved.
Yeah.
So what can Richmond muster in this second half? A lot of chasing to do. 31 points behind the Dockers. And the win is for Sarong here out of the middle. Gets around 1 and then 2. And then a hand pass off to Young, who takes a bounce forward to the centre circles. Kick inside 50 over the head of Amos. Couldn't take the mark. Vlosten onto it for the Tigers. And now Grimes to Martin, who shrugs one tackle nicely. The snap out of defensive 50. 1-2. Back into the centre square. Aish gets the turnover, kick to the top of 50. Young has it, hand pass straight to Brayshaw, chip into the pocket. Oh, he could have had a shot for goal and almost missed Frederick. He's able to gather it, right forward pocket, goes backwards, shocking kick to the bootlaces of O'Meara, who had a fumble, then had to go back and win it. Jumping over the top, Brayshaw got some sort of kick out of there. Baker on hands and knees, he's trying to run interference. A chance for Dan Rioli. The hand pass is okay too to Dow. And further out wide, stabbing kick is a good one to Pickett. And he takes the mark. They get out of that one, the Tigers.
Did they? What? Andy Brayshaw, it's just that one area still. We love the way he plays. It's a poor error.
Marlon Pickett kicking up towards Lafau. Brings it down in front. Luke Bryan there for the Dockers. High kick forward of the wing. Tracy arriving late. Punches it out. Halves the contest. Thrown to come between wing and half forward. Sunday afternoon. Here at the MCG. Sparsely populated for Richmond and Fremantle. Umpire brings it back in. Darcy and Nankervis down in front. Sarong onto it. Handball for Frederick. Leaves it behind. Goes back and gets it. Loses it. Off to Darcy. Away to Clark. Kicks out wide. Mark taken by Young. Delivers inside 50. Grimes gets a hand in. Spilled footy. Onto it. Fast Freddie. Left foot snap. Fast Freddie with the finish. Michael Frederick goals. And Fremantle pick up where they left off. They're out by 37. 2 minutes into the second. 7-8-50. Plays 1-7-13. Brett Delidio and Luke Ball on Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it was a great crumb. I reckon if Dylan Grimes had his chance again, he probably tries to mark this one. It's probably maybe a bit harsh. He read it really well and cut off that kick from Young, trying to get to Walters. But
quite get enough on it, did he?
Nah, just couldn't clear the area. And when you get those soft drops, it invites the small forwards. Frederick has all good small forwards doing front and centre, running onto it. He's a pretty classy finisher on his left too, Frederick. I saw him do it last week as well. His ability just to go left and right is Really good. Like
a really important player for them.
Yeah.
Just with the pressure he puts on. He
brings energy.
He does. He makes something happen. It was Sarong again at the clearance, though. Brilliant hands. That's 2 in a row for him this quarter.
Now Bolton with a chance for the Tigers. Hand pass over the top was almost intercepted. Nankervis, his hand pass is awkward. It bounces away from Pickett. Now to Brayshaw for the Dockers. And they're away. Good spoil from behind there from Miller. Almost found the boundary line. Went back and got it to Pickett. Interesting hand pass. Retreats. And then off to Bolton. Bolton, the chip inside is okay. And Short has it left half back for the Tigers. Aggressive kick this time. No mark taken by Clark, but he was able to affect the spoil. Hand pass away to Darcy, to Chapman. Chapman looking for the 1-2. Went further afield. Sarong will almost end up on the end of this. Oh, he's looking the wrong way as Young tried to hit him with the hand pass. Morris Rioli onto it and then fires it out wide. Mark taken out wide by Campbell, and he has it forward of centre.
He's looking for Dusty, who's been in vintage form and gets a holding free kick. This forward of the wing, southern side of the ground, runs away with it, takes a bounce, chips a kick inside 50. Looking for Baker. Ralph Smith juggles the mark down. 40 out, 30-degree angle to the right for Hugo Ralph Smith.
Right, when the big fella Dusty gets on his bike and it starts hitting the wings, it's a true old-school centre-half forward. You kick him the footy, and I think Luke Ryan just got a bit nervous, didn't he? He didn't want to be fended off or made look silly, so he got a bit grabby.
Yeah.
But it was just a nice little chip kick. It wasn't his best kick, no doubt. It was a bit old-school in terms of a bit markers up, wasn't it? From just pop it up and allow Ralph Smith to have a jump at it. Yeah. Needs to finish better than he did last night.
1-year contract extension for the year. Missed a chance earlier today. His drop punt here is meeting the moment. A much-needed goal for Richmond. Just their second this afternoon. Fremantle 7-8-50. Richmond 2-7-19. Dockers by 31. 5 minutes into the third. Brett Delidio, Luke Ball. Sunday footy on ABC.
Yeah, and you go back about a minute, Lids, and Jaden Short wheeling half back there, kicking the ball inside. Okay, it was a little bit dangerous and it was to a contest in the end, but it's a better mindset, isn't it? It's the first half, that would have just gone sideways or backwards, so it just shows me that they're in a bit more of an attacking frame. And it ended up creating that space on the fat side. And as you said, Martin, who's just been, arguably the best one-on-one player of the last 20 years, makes the defender panic. And look, it wasn't a great kick. They had to make something out of nothing in the end, didn't they? But it was to the advantage of Hugo Ralph Smith, and he was good enough to take the mark on the second grab and finish this time. So let's see if that can spark something for the Tigers here.
Both midfields reset. Darcy over the top. Feet of Nankervis. Chance for Pickett, who tries to wrestle his way free. Couldn't do so. Young wraps him up. We'll have another stoppage in the middle. 31 points the margin in favour of the Dockers. Tossed up. Darcy run it down. Naismith left it for Baker. Cleared a path. Kick inside 50. Not a great one. Now the hand pass is okay by Naismith. Out wide. Dusty's all alone in the goal square. It's going to go over his head and away for one behind, and he can't believe it.
Yeah.
Campbell just fired too quickly. And a minor score it is. 5 goals, even the margin.
Overplayed it a little bit, young Campbell. Like all good small forwards, having a shot from anywhere, but when you've got a teammate at the top of the goal square, I reckon you just pop it there.
Kick in from Clark. And Naismith in front of the pack takes a strong mark. Richmond with a little purple patch. Here he gives it off towards Dan Rioli. Stabs it short. Beautiful delivery. And bobbing up to Mark Sonzi. 40 metres out, slight angle to the left.
Great mark by Naismith.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, great to see him back playing footy, isn't it?
And what I like is the big bloke just giving it off to your kickers. You know, you've done your job, mate. You've taken the mark. You've won the ball back for us. Give it to the distributors, and that's what Dan Rioli is. Found another chest in Sonsi.
Best on ground in the VFL last week. Hit the scoreboard there. A chance to do so today. He drives it through the middle. And Richmond with a spark to start the second half. It's back to 4 goals, Fremantle's lead. 7-8-50 plays 3-8-26, 7 minutes into the third term. What's changed, Brett Delidio and Luke Ball?
Well, just intent. They're just showing more intent to get the ball moving. We spoke about Short, trying to ping that ball inside. That was the first sign of it. And then Martin getting involved, and just the ability there to be able to set up behind the defensive exit kick. Nice mark from Naismith, and even getting up and handballing rather than going back and kicking a long bomb in.
Yep.
Get the ball in motion, gives it to Rioli. And look, they're having to create something out of nothing forward of the ball, aren't they? We know that with the personnel they've got up there. But they get 2 in a row for the first time, and all of a sudden a little bit of pressure goes back onto the Dockers.
Not out of this, the Tigers, which is amazing considering they'd kicked 1 goal in 2 quarters of footy. Then Curvis with the tap out. Another clearance here for the Tigers. Baker off his left, inside 50. Ryan read it best. Takes the mark despite a little bit of front-on pressure there. Inside defensive 50. Time for a breath for the Dockers. He flares it wide. It's a good kick too to Simpson, who takes the mark. Simpson looking inboard. Just over centre wing.
Good kick.
This time Jackson. Still a double grab, but had enough time. He goes wide to Darcy, who will then drive it high and long inside attacking 50. They set themselves, no mark taken. Ralph Smith has to gather the bouncing ball. Did well enough. Now Miller with the kick out. It's a good one too, and the mark is taken by Mansell, right half back here for the Tigers. You can just feel the shift in momentum at the moment.
And Mansell kicks around the boundary line, and Martin can lead up and mark. Kicks around the great southern stand wing, looking for Shea Bolton, jumps in front of it, and the mark taken by Ryan.
Just a cool head, Luke Ryan reads the ball so well. He's just been able to repel, hasn't he, the last 2 attacks from the Tigers.
Comes infield with his kick to James Aish, who gives it off to Ryan at centre half back. He kicks into the middle of the ground. There's Walters stabbing it short. Emmett marks. Looks inside 50 for the Dockers. Nothing he likes initially. He'll send it long into the pocket. Tracy trying to get out over there, and a good mark taken by Miller in the back pocket. Young in the left back pocket here for the Tigers, and he'll kick up towards the wing.
Long kick in front. Oh, lovely mark taken by Walker, who goes inside with the footy to Johnson. Off his left, a little bit of an awkward one here. Young had to be clean, and he was. Hand pass over the top to Clark. Clark out wide, saw someone out the corner of his eye, and it was Jeremy Sharp drifting forward inside attacking 50. Takes it 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left.
Just a wingman playing his role there, Bally. You need to hold your width, just getting forward, trying to stretch the defence a little bit. It was a perfect kick that just got over the fingertips of Ralph Smith, but you hang for those little licks that you might get as a wingman. They don't come all too often, but it's going to be his second shot on goal.
Kick one in the second term, Jeremy Sharp. This one a little tougher. From just inside attacking 50. And he's kicked it off the instep there. Always narrow, one behind. Fremantle now 7-9-51. 3-8-26 the Tigers. We've played 10 minutes of this third term.
Baker at fullback for Richmond. Just pokes a kick short to Jaden Short. He looks long up to the wing. Pearce outbodies his opponent. And Naismith the mark. Kicks towards half forward. Turns it over. Liam Baker with the intercepting mark for Richmond. His left foot kick is a shocker. Floats off the boot, but works out for Grimes. Handball back to Baker. Lateral handball out towards the wing, and Sonzi steps his man. Now comes infield with the kick to Baker. Richmond look like a different side.
Baker inboard. Oh, Pickett dropped what he should have taken. There's a little bit of pressure from Young. Hand pass off to Tracy. Has a shot from 80 out. It's all the way to the goal square. It spins like a 9-iron short on a golf course. It's up nicely there for Miller. He's able to bring it out of defence to Short. Chip over the top is okay. Vlosten has it at right half back. Brown is the option in the middle. Hits him at true centre half back.
That was a bit ambitious, wasn't it? Dennis would say from the big kahuna. He had a couple of players short, had to lower the eyes. Didn't get the bounce, but he had to kick at 70.
Brown out to the wing. It was Naismith v Pearce, so Pearce was able to win the contest. Now Sharp at ground level. Takes a bounce. He's scooting the boundary line. Hand pass over the top. Set Young a bit of a task there. Ralph Smith in there for the Tigers. Hand pass away is okay. Now to Sonsi. A hand pass was looking for Vlosten, who eventually got it to Martin. Had a fumble at an inopportune time. Young just hand passes it forward, hoping for someone, but it's all Tigers. They link up through hands, and now Dan Rioli's off and running.
Here he goes, bursting through the middle of the MCG, stabbing it inside 50. McKelty Lafau takes it on his chest, 45 out, slight angle to the left-hand side.
Well, there's a lot of good things about our game, but I reckon that's right up there with one of the best, Bally. A half-back who tucks it under their arm couple of bounces through the middle of the ground, and then the ability just to check his speed and check himself before delivering, and take that beautiful weighted ball, take a bit of time off it, give Lafau a great look at it. It's a pure kick, Lafau, so hopefully he can knock this one through. They want to roll the Tigers.
Came to Melbourne to join Melbourne Storm's Academy. Now playing AFL at the G and driving through a goal from 50. And a game has broken out at the MCG. Richmond right back in it. Fremantle by only 19 points. 7-9-51 plays 4-8-32. They did lead by 37 early in this second half. Brett Delidio, Luke Ball.
Yeah, it was a scrappy bit of play prior to the build-up, prior to Rioli getting involved, as you said, Lids, and it was really him who said, righto, I'm going to take this under my arm and take matters into my own hands. Baker involved again. He's had a big start to this third quarter. He needed to get going. Up to 7 possessions already. Jaden Short 4, Rioli 3, Martin involved. So it is their gun players getting them back into the game here. And lovely kick to Lafau. He's got some really good forward craft, hasn't he? Again, for a guy who hasn't played a heap of footy. Nice lead into pocket space, and that's just a beautiful kick.
3 in a row for the Tigers. Naismith with the tap straight to Jackson, though. Hand pass just made its way to Brayshaw. Hand pass to Johnson, who was quick. Got it to Sarong, but a lot of pressure coming, so he was forced to snap. Chance for Richmond here at half-back. Umpire calls play on Morris Rioli. Back to help. Brown, snap off the left is lovely. Onto the chest there of Bolton, who's thought about going quickly. He's forward of centre wing. Low kick inside 50. No mark taken. Dan Rioli onto it. On the half volley. Hand pass straight to O'Meara. Turned it over. Now the Dockers can come away. Or will they? Bolton intercepts. High kick. It'll land at the top of the square. Freo with the numbers. Sharp dropped it. It's a free kick. A free kick for Aish. She was impeded off the ball. And Aish flares it to the left back pocket, where Ryan has it for the Dockers. Looping hand pass over the top is okay to Sharp. Drew a couple of opponents. That's nice work. Now he's able to get it over to Draper. Long kick to left half forward. No mark taken. Tigers can do well to mop this up at half back. Hand pass over the top from Miller is okay. Now decision for Broad. He hugs the boundary line with his kick. Lafau will come late. Didn't quite get there in time. And Draper took a really neat mark just backward of centre wing.
And Michael Johnson, Mark 2.
You mentioned Ibbotson, Mark 2. This is Michael Johnson, Mark 2. Couple of throwbacks for the Dockers.
The turnover, though. Thompson Dow has it knocked out of his hands. The Richmond fans want 50. Remember, we're speaking about great kicks. Michael Johnson used to hold it right up the top of the ball.
He did. Yeah.
Short kick to Jaden Short, who feeds off the handball. Away to Broad running by. Has to kick on his non-preferred left. Inside 50. Ryan spoils it away. Johnson there for the Dockers. Handball back to Draper. Under pressure. Goes back to Chapman. Kicks to fullback. O'Meara's back there. Marks at fullback for Freo. Goes with a long kick out towards Simpson, and Bloston bobs up. Richmond are all over Fremantle at the moment.
He goes quickly to Dow. Dow, 55 from goal. Too far out to score. Bolton's got a lot of space in the pocket there if he can get it across to him.
That's the kick.
Well, he goes to the opposite pocket, which was the nearer one. Ryan's parked in front of this pack, gets through his hands to the back. Bolton came from the other pocket, just kept it in for good measure. The clearing kick is no good, and Brown takes it on his chest. He's 50 from goal, and he can go the journey.
Yeah, I reckon Nick Lawson just said to him, mate, I reckon you've got this in your leg. We saw his class before, just off half back. Yeah. Beautiful left foot touch kick around the corner to Shea Bolton. I like him off half back. He's composed for a younger player. He makes good decisions, sets up really well. He always kicking goals as a half back. That's one thing you really want to be able to do if you can knock this one through.
There's a Bush Ranger, Lids.
Yeah, good bushy boy, Bruton boy, I think.
Yep.
Spins the footy a couple of times. Gets it from 50. He's kicked that 60, 65. But it misses to the left-hand side. One behind. So the margin now 3 straight kicks. Let's get downstairs. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, Hayden Young's been off for the Fremantle Dockers for a while. They've been working on his schnoz. They can't seem to stop the blood. Nate Fife is up and warming up.
Well, I need to get some gauze up there. Quick, smart, get him back out there. Hayden Young.
How'd you go with
I've been in that position before. The blood knows.
You get it all the time. The tape wrapped right around your pill.
Good. That's no good.
Is it hard to breathe, ball?
Yeah, it is.
Bit of mouth breathing.
Yep.
Dockers at half-back. Sarong, release it. More than walking, he's speeding through the middle, kicking inside 50. Offhands, it spills down. Floston tackled by Frederick, just gets the handball away. Amos there to mop it up though. Handball away to Emmett, nowhere to go. Handball away towards Johnson coming through. He'll get it on the boot and step it through. A much needed steadying goal for the Dockers. They're back out by 4 goals. They're 8th of the afternoon, 8-9-57, plays 4-9-33. Fremantle by 24 points. Downstairs, Ian Cohen before Brett Delidio and Luke Ball.
Yeah, the good news for Hayden Young is they've stemmed that, but it looks like Darcy is coming off with a tight calf, and it is going to be Nate Fife who's put into the game.
How about that speed from Walker through the middle of the ground? He went away from...
Mansell it was.
Mansell
who's got
chasing
wheels.
him. Yeah, he can motor as well, but just a missed opportunity. Baker just reaching for the tackle and missed Johnson coming through. He's a big-bodied mid-Johnson. His ability to break that just got him enough time to have a clever snap on goal. You see Baker upset with himself because he missed that tackle. It's a real opportunity.
6th goal of his young career so far, and it was a good one as well. Back in the middle. Freo with the answer at the moment. Young wins the clearance, hand pass over to Sarong, to Jackson, hand pass inside 50 to Walters, who can turn and fire. Great smother in the end. Allowed Broad to collect. Awkward looking hand pass to Dow, but it's okay. He has Brown out wide, who gets around one and then goes quite centrally inside the centre square. Young a little unlucky not to be taken without it there, and he makes sure it's not coming out. Ball to be tossed up on halfway inside the centre square.
See the value of Young again there at the clearances. Him and Sarong just 1-2 punch, teaming up so well.
Then Curvis down. And winning that forward was Sonsi. Long kick to half forward. Lafau. Now Morris Rioli at ground level. He's able to paddle it in front and then got the hand pass away. Bad here from the Tigers as the kick comes in from Sonsi. Martin the target. Got rid of a couple of opponents. Couldn't gather the ball. He's still free in the forward pocket here, Dusty, if they can get it to him. Not quite. Fremantle getting numbers back. Clark scooting the goal line there. A rush kick. It's a 2-on-1 here for the Tigers. Broad dropped what he should have taken. Allowed Emmett to come back in and compete at ground level. He was then pushed off it. Chance for Broad. He's taken immediately. Pressure's just gone up over the last couple of minutes. And we'll have a stoppage, 55 from the Richmond goal.
He dropped the mark, Broad, but you can see why young Emmett's in the team. It's 2, second, third, but battling against 2 there. Great third effort. Good stuff.
Both rucks with hands on it. Out after it, Sarong gets a handball away to his running mate, Brayshaw. Kicks around the members' wing. Bouncing ball. Richmond have the numbers. Able to mop up his Miller. He'll go right back. And the mark taken by Brown. Richmond across half-back. Left half-back to right half-back. And Morris Rioli Jr. A text coming through asking about the Riolis out there. Are they cousins or uncle and nephew? So we'll come back to that in a moment as Rioli's kick. Here's a turnover. Fremantle back on it through Pearce. Handball to Waish. Handball away to Emmett. Half forward. He'll chip it short. Spot up Simpson. Gives it to Frederick. On to Walters. Left forward pocket. Drop punt misses. Misses narrow minor score. Fremantle out by 25. So just on that. Morris is considered Daniel's uncle. A Western or European family would say that they're second cousins. Daniel's dad and Morris are first cousins.
And Cohen downstairs.
Yeah, they ring the changes. Richmond as well. Naismith has been subbed out and Camden McIntosh is on. Nate Fife also on the ground for Sean Darcy.
So Richmond absorbing a bit of pressure here in their deep in their defensive zone. Chance now for Short, who runs to the back pocket. Long kick out of there. Lafau ran under it. On the back of the pack is Rioli Jr. He takes one bounce. He's over centre wing. Has a couple of options inside. Goes longer still. No mark taken. Waiting down for a picket. Goes to hand pass. No, he doesn't. He finally gets it to Martin, who snaps and misses. One behind. So I reckon Clark might have got a hand on that too, just to rush the behind. So,
both teams making hard work of it, aren't they?
That's right.
Golden opportunities at either end of the ground. Good scrambling, good defence there from Freo.
Margin back to 4 goals in favour of the Dockers.
Short kick in to Chapman in the pocket. Had to go to Doha to sort out his hamstring issues. back and playing, just his second game of the year. Long kick up to the wing. Mark taken by Young. Richmond back in possession. Fremantle by 24. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. A long kick back inside, attacking 50. Looking for Lafau. Ryan there for the Dockers. Off his hands. Chapman tackled. Handball away to Aish. Clearing kick. High ball just beyond the defensive arc. Then Curvis underneath it. Takes the high chest mark. Left tail forward for Richmond. Goes back to the top of his mark. There's plenty of players in front of him, so he's just going to lob this one to the top of the square. Who are the Flyers? Pickett was in front, waiting down Dow. Hand pass away is okay, although fumbling at the last minute was Sonsi. Allowed Fremantle to get a couple of numbers there, including Pearce, who's taken immediately in a tackle. No prior opportunity. We'll have a stoppage inside attacking 50 for the Tigers. Margin at halftime was 31. It's back to 4 straight goals in favour of the Dockers. Richmond pushing hard. Martin doing some ruck work. Won it down and then pushed the wrong off it. His kick was affected. Richmond with the numbers at the fall of the ball. Brown off to Nankervis and then to Rioli. Oh, not quite the mark there by Lafau, but they still got numbers forward. Sonsi is taken out for a boundary throw-in at the top of 50. Left half forward here for the Tigers. They are pushing in this third term. 4:10:34. Dockers 8:10:58.
Dusty nearly pushing Khaled Sarong to East Melbourne.
Umpire brings it back in. And Curvis slaps it inside 50. Lafau out after it. Big don't argue. Snaps a bouncing ball to full forward. Back there sharp for the Dockers. Handball to Ryan. High kick out of bounds on the full. Where did it cross? 60 out, say the umpires. Free kick going to Banks. Both subs enacted. Sean Darcy and Sam Naismith subbed out. Banks sets it up to full forward for Richmond. Lafau launches down at ground level. Jammed on the boot by Mansell. Dribbles it wide of the target. Minor score. 23 points. Fremantle's lead. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Great to have you with us. Richmond have lifted.
I feel like if they get one more before three-quarter time,
make it interesting.
I'll make the Dockers a little bit nervous.
Kick from Ryan to Aish. Right back pocket here for the Dockers.
Controlling field position here. 16 inside 50s to 11 for the core of the Tigers.
Lovely kick from Aish to Young, and that's where you want the footy. Young into the middle to Brayshaw. Off to Sarong. Sarong with a low piercing ball. Lovely mark by Frederick. Initially, Amos lost his footing, and it looked like they weren't going to have a contest in that mark, but wonderful leap from Frederick. He just hung.
Yeah, he did, Maisie. You're right. He just elevated, didn't he, and hung there. His ability to stay up and keep Young well away from the ball. Didn't have a play on it at all. Great mitts to catch at that speed.
Well, this one will hurt too. This one they had opportunity down the other end, Richmond.
Kicked a very good goal earlier in this third term. Frederick from 50. This is coming back, but not quite enough across the face for one behind. Margin back to 4 straight goals in favour of the Dockers.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport, round 8. Hawthorn and the Dogs to follow, and then a Q clash on a Sunday night before a public holiday on Monday in Queensland. Kick in from Vloston to Broad. There goes really short towards Young. He's under pressure. Handball back to Vloston. And he's taken high, which just relieves the pressure for Richmond. Sonny Walters just a little clumsy. Short kick from Vloston. A good one to Sonsi. On the arc of defensive 50 for the Tigers. Kick up to the wing. Bolton a run and jump. Comes in from the side. Doesn't take the mark. Sarong roves the pack. Fremantle back with it. Little 1-2 with Simpson.
Then an attacking hand pass into the middle, which is a good one to the wing. Young off to Brayshaw, who retreats. It's risky. Martin got a hand in there, turned the ball over. Rioli Jr. couldn't get the hand pass away quick enough. Coming for a little bit of assistance was McIntosh, and time beats him. Tigers might have been out the back there. The siren has beaten everyone. Three-quarter time, Richmond just hanging around in Fremantle's rear vision mirror. 4 straight kicks the margin. 4-11-35 the Tigers. 8-11-59 the Dockers. Goal kickers, Darcy with 2 for the Dockers. Singles to Walters, Sharp, Amos, Frederick, Tracy and Johnson. Meanwhile, 2 for the Tigers for Lafau, and singles to Ralph Smith and Sonzi.
So Fremantle leading by 24 points at the final change. 8:11.59 plays, 4:11.35. The final quarter coming up in just a moment. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Hi there, Lisa Miller here. Isn't it great to get outside for a breath of fresh air? It's one of life's simple pleasures, right? Well, I can help you to keep something else simple too. Finding news you can trust. You can stay in the know with ABC News. Download the app and receive alerts to your phone. Visit the ABC News website. And for stories straight to your inbox, subscribe to one of our newsletters. It's all the latest, all verified, all the time. Stay in the know with ABC News.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Grimes gets a hand in. Spilled footy. Onto it. Fast Freddie. Left foot snap. Fast Freddie with the finish. Michael Frederick goals. And Fremantle pick up where they left off. They're out by 37. Dusty, who's been in vintage form and gets a holding free kick. Runs away with it. Takes a bounce. Chips a kick inside 50. Looking for Baker. Ralph Smith jungles the mark down. 40 out. 1 year contract extension for the year. Missed a chance earlier today. His drop punt here is meeting the moment. A much needed goal for Richmond. Here he gives it off towards Danrioli. Stabs it short. Beautiful delivery. And bombing up the mark, Sonzi. Best on ground in the VFL last week. Hit the scoreboard there. A chance to do so today. He drives it through the middle. And Richmond with a spark to start the second half.
Well, just intent. They're just showing more intent. They get 2 in a row for the first time. And all of a sudden, a little bit of pressure goes back onto the Dockers.
Here he goes, bursting through the middle of the MCG. Stabbing it inside 50. McKelty Lafau takes it on his chest. 45 out. Slight angle to the left-hand side. Came to Melbourne to join Melbourne Storm's Academy. Now playing AFL at the G and driving through a goal from 50. And a game has broken out at the MCG. Richmond right back in it. Handball away to Emmett. Nowhere to go. Handball away towards Johnson coming through. He'll get it on the boot and snap it through. A much-needed steadying goal for the Dockers. They're back out by 4 goals.
Looks like Darcy is coming off with a tight calf, and it is going to be Nate Fife who's put into the game.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Fremantle leading on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport by 24 points as we turn for home. Coming up next, it's the Hawks and the Dogs, and Corbin Middlemass is in position.
Ben, the ink not yet dry on Jamara Ugle-Hagen's 2-year extension. That's good news for Bulldogs fans. One of the teams that were big time in for him was the Hawthorn Footy Club, who appropriately they played today. So a new contract for Ugle-Hagen through to 2026. Dogs have been on this roller coaster season again. A defeat in Perth, hoping to try and bounce back here today. While the Hawks are 1-6. Their equal biggest defeat of the season last week, 76 points at the hands of the Swans. They were too much for North Melbourne the week before that, but at the moment they look too good for North and too far short of the rest of the teams in the competition. How far away are they from a middling Western Bulldogs outfit? We'll find out this afternoon. We're too early for teams, but what I can tell you is that Ugle-Hagen and Liberatore will both play. Now the Wizard Watson is back for the Hawks. And Kelsha Deer is going to make his debut. He is the son of the late Paul Deer, the Norm Smith medalist from 1991. He was presented his jumper on the ground a short time ago. So the Bulldogs and the Hawks, our broadcast game up next. Ben, as round 8 rolls on.
Good on you, Corbin. There is Corbin Middlemass, one half of Corbin and Ben. You can get it in the podcast store under the best of ABC Sport every Monday and Thursday. Brett Delidio.
Yeah, special guest.
Every Thursday. He's the better.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah, remains to be seen. Luke Ball and Brett Delidio picking this game apart.
Well, you called it, Benny. A game did break out. It's that quarter. Thank goodness.
Yeah, we got a little bit.
Yeah, we had our fingers crossed at half time, didn't we? And it really was their gun players, their senior players that got them back into the game. And it started early in that quarter with just some intent to take a bit more of a risk, take the game on a bit more, try and get the ball through the middle of the ground with Short, who had 7 possessions that quarter, Floston 8. Baker got involved around the clearances. Yes. He went into the middle of the ground. He had 7 after a quiet first half.
We're not
Martin
talking about the clearances, though. Like there's hardly been
There hasn't been any of them. Yeah, that's right. There's only been a handful. And but it was that intent, and they found a way, didn't they, to create some goals. Ralph Smith got on the end of one. Great to see Lafau continue to develop, and he kicked one as well. The issue with the Tigers was, and they kicked a couple in a row, were able to put a bit of pressure on, but then they just let the Dockers off the hook. And some experienced heads. Luke Ryan had a good quarter. He was able to get back. He had 10 possessions and take some intercept marks. And then Richmond's ability or lack of ability to defend Fremantle on the turnover has challenged them as well. And really, I mean, both teams did, but Fremantle left a few out there in terms of not taking their opportunities. So, for all their impetus that quarter, Richmond, it was only 3 goals to 2. Clearly, they need to get the first 1 or 2 goals here of this quarter to be any chance, and put some pressure on Fremantle. Their guns go back into the middle of the ground. It's Martin and Bolton and Baker. Fife in there for the Dockers. Let's see if the Tigers can make a game of it.
Fife on Martin. How good's that? Fremantle by 24 points as the final term gets underway. Bolton.
Great tackle.
First possession, caught holding the ball though. So Young.
Been super young. Both sides of the ball too. That's what's impressed me today. We know what he's like with ball in hand, but he's shown a willingness to tackle and chase and pressure.
Fremantle move it out to the southern wing. Walters stabbing it short to Sarong, looking inside 50 for Fife. He juggles it down. 45 out, 45-degree angle.
Well, we spoke about Dusty and Fife playing on each other. There's both sides of the ball there. Offensively, both of them superstars. I'm not sure much of both of them have really known what the defensive 50 looks like too much throughout their journey, but he's going to get tested out today, Dusty.
Nat Fife, the sub into the game for the Dockers. His kick is a good ride, but missing a little narrow and punched through. So Freo's lead beyond 4 goals. Talking great kickers earlier on, and Ben Griffiths, former Richmond player, great kick, went to the US as a punter.
Big Cheryl.
Yeah. See at the past Players' Day today?
No, he wasn't there. Just I'm not sure whether he's still over in the States, to be honest.
Fremantle by 25 points, 1 minute into the fourth.
Might be back. Could kick a ball, though.
Long kick coming. Yeah, it was a huge kick. So Fremantle with a chance here from the rebound. They've turned it over inside their attacking half, and a big tackle on Brayshaw from Broad ensures he's going nowhere. We'll have a stoppage. 55 from the Dockers' goal.
You play with Aaron Sipos, Sporley?
No, I missed him.
Knocked down by Nankervis. Has to become the tackler on Young, who was looking to break free. Couldn't do so. Another stoppage at the top of 50 for the Dockers.
Back in the AFL, Aaron Sipos, development coach at Hawthorn now.
Ben Graham could hoof it, obviously, the original.
He's got a shout-out on the SMS line. Broad, handball away, O'Meara steals it for the Dockers. Handball away to Jackson, back feeds a handball back to Clark. Left foot kick to full forward for the Dockers. No mark taken, live footy. And they're able to work it out quickly through Young, though he coughs it up. Getting involved for Fremantle, Brayshaw stripped of it. Ball still rolling around at full forward. Vlosten clears it. Dustin Martin knocks it high into the air, gathers it again, under pressure immediately.
Went the spoil, almost could have claimed the mark there because he got it on the way down. Richmond have numbers though. Couple of bounces from Dan Rioli. Hand pass over the top is a good one to Baker. Bolton's getting out the back if he can get it to him. And Bolton works his opponent underneath it nicely. Then had a fumble at most inopportune time. Still had a slip. Had time to recover. Lafau, kick in, board is okay. Fife coming back with the flight. Couldn't take the mark. Now Ryan. Hand pass is good to Frederick. Now to O'Meara. And there's plenty of white jumpers running off half back. Brayshaw. Hand pass to Sarong. Now back to Frederick, who gets through the middle. Long kick inside 50. Tracy's got a bit of a jump on his opponent and takes the mark. 35 out, about 15 metres inside the boundary, right forward pocket.
It's good transition footy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fife getting back to help out in the air, just when it looked like Richmond might be able to take a mark in front of their goals. And then it was just numbers, wasn't it? They swarmed back through the middle of the ground. Frederick, he's the one. Whenever he gets it, something happens from the Dockers. Doesn't like a huge possession player, but just such an impact on the game and plenty of space as he dashed through the middle. And lovely kick to advantage here for Big Tracy.
And he comes 40 out, angled to the right, and as soon as he kicked that, he was celebrating. His second of the afternoon, and a good start to the final term for the Dockers. Margin back to what it was at halftime, 31 points, 4-11-35 the Tigers, 9-12-66 the Dockers.
That feeling for me, Bally, and I don't know whether you are the same, where you can see the play unfolding, you're going to get on the end of it like Frederick was there. I would have been looking for the pass if I was that free like he was. I would have been pinning the ears back and trying to attack the 50, but he was down there next to, gave it to O'Meara initially in that back line, just kept running to run through break to the centre of the ground. Good contact from Tracy early, Tracy, to get a check of the body onto Miller, get him away from his space, and then take the easy mark and a great finish.
He's a beautiful kick for goal, isn't he?
Yeah.
Nice.
And he kicked 3 straight last week, had 5 contested marks as well. Out of the middle, Young to Sarong, Fremantle forward again, kicks inside 50, bouncing ball brought onto it, gives it off to Short, clearing kick for Richmond, a short high ball, a mark taken by Young again.
He's been everywhere, Young.
Yeah, had himself a day.
28 positions coming up.
On that left foot for Tracy again, who bobbles it but marks. 25 out directly in front, and he'll go back and have a look at his third. I did speak to someone last year at Fremantle, Borley, and I said, where's your big body midfielders? You've got Brayshaw and Sarong, and they said, we think we've already got him. And it's Hayden Young, and he's become that.
Well, he's a top 10 pick too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's just a player who's taken a little bit of time, came in across halfback like we see so many of them do. But he's really flourishing this year.
Tracy directly in front, whacks it through. Fremantle with a firm grip on this game. They lead by 37 points. An equal game-high lead for them. 10-12-72, plays 4-11-35. 6 minutes into the fourth. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Brett Delidio, Luke Ball.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just back to finishing off on Young. So 23, 65 games. So now's the time, isn't it? He's the one. Him and Sarong and Brayshaw. I mean, that's your centre square bounce, isn't it, for the next 10 years?
Well, it's when you start to feel comfortable, isn't it, Bally? Like you've played enough footy. He's been in the system now, coming into his 4th, 5th year. You start to feel like you've got some ownership on the place as well. And he's obviously, you can see that in the way he's playing with, Brayshaw and Sarong inside. Nat Fyfe chipping in every now and again as well.
Steady nicely here, the Dockers. Last 3 goals of the game. All up in the middle. Bolton wins the clearance. Long high kick. It'll just land inside 50. Pickett trying to get a run at it. Pushed his opponent out of it. By wave play on. Aish at ground level. Looking to collect. Ryan there. He's collected high. Free kick going the way of the Dockers.
A little bit careful, Liam Baker. He gets suspended a couple of weeks ago for just a bit of a reckless attack on the footy. He knocked Tracy over in the previous one. Almost gave away 50. And then we love how he plays.
Oh, Ryan, that was a risky kick across the face of goal. Now a chance for the Tigers at ground level and snapping. The goal is Banks. Lovely clean pick-up. And lovely goal for the youngster. In fact, it was Mansell. So Mansell answers back. It's the Tigers' first goal since the 13-minute mark of the third term. 5-11-41 the Tigers. 10-12-72 the Dockers. We've almost played 8 minutes in this 4th term.
Yeah, Luke Ryan put his hand up straight away and went out to Chapman. He just one-step kicks, Bally. They get you into trouble more often than not. There's not too many exponents of it that can execute it, especially over 35, 40 metres. Just put it to the wrong side of young Chapman there. Didn't give him a chance. Good defence, though, by Mansell to be just sniffing that turnover, created the contest and then swooped back onto that loose ball.
Have received a text from Dave Middlemass, the father of.
Yeah.
Who's the quintessential pessimistic Dockers fan. He says, come on, Ben, you've seen enough of Freo to know it's not over yet.
I thought it was going to be to say that Corbin was the best kick he's ever seen.
Davo would have taught him well. Corbin actually is not a bad kick of the footy. Jeff from Morawa, loving the call. I'm currently ploughing my paddock back to prepare for sowing.
Oh, yeah?
I don't use chemicals on my farm at all, says Jeff. Great to have you with us, Jeff.
What's he sowing?
Out of the middle goes Jackson for the Dockers. Short to Emmett. On 50, chips it short. Walters diving, not quite. Onto it. Grimes for Richmond. Back feeds a handball away to Vlosten. Time to steady and come infield. Good kick to Bolton. Oh, free kick given away in a little wrestle between Grimes and Walters.
Just didn't need to do it, Dylan Grimes. I mean, I think Walters made sure the umpire saw it.
He hammed it.
He tends to do a bit of that.
Oh.
Kick back inside to Sharp. Sharp back to Walters, where he had the free kick 10 seconds ago.
That's the intensity you speak about, leads with Grimes.
Yeah.
He just wants to wrestle and do everything full clip.
Don't worry, you'll get him here again. You watch.
Walters, kick inside 50. Broad takes a good contested mark in a big pack there in the left back pocket. Looking for a way out. 31 points the margin in favour of Fremantle. He's on his left there. Hugs the boundary line with the kick. No mark taken by Grimes. Bounced over his head in the end, and now a chance for the Dockers. They can't come away. We'll have a ball up 5 metres inside the boundary. Left half back here for the Tigers.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Keep your texts coming as we roll through. Fremantle holding on to this game. They lead by 31 points. Richmond come away with it. Under pressure from the Dockers, though. Free kick given away. They go to Mansell. And gives it off the bench running by through the logo. Long kick inside 50 for the yellow and black. Brian's there as he so often is. Defensive mark for the Dockers in the back pocket. Stabs his kick short to Clark.
His 13th mark, Luke Ryan. Up to 32 possessions himself.
Fremantle by 31 points. From Coburg in the VFL, Luke Ryan, and makes his way into the AFL as a mature age product and become a very good player for the Dockers.
Wide here to Chapman. High kick, hung in the air. Ryan waited for it, and then his opponent ran past the footy. So now a chance for the Dockers. And they're away through Simpson, who takes a bounce. Almost a good gather by Banfield, but he tapped it to the advantage of a teammate. Bounced away from Brayshaw to go back and gather. Hand pass to Ryan. Now a chance for Johnson. He shrugs one tackle, then he's taken. Probably should have been holding the ball. Banfield gets his hands free at the last moment. Off to Ryan. O'Meara now. And then to Johnson, all by hand. Kick inside, attacking 50. Tracy's again just found himself with a couple of metres of space. Takes the mark going back with a fly to the ball.
Wow, they were very unlucky there. Liam Baker's actually chasing down the umpire. He's got to be a bit careful. He'll give away 50. You'd want to be talking nicely. He's a bit angry at the moment, Liam Baker, the way this game's panning out. But that was a clear holding the ball missed here on the wing to the Tigers. So you can hear the supporters who feel like they've had a bit of a rough run up until this point anyway. And this well just put the finishing touches on it. It'll be third for the quarter here.
He strikes it beautifully as well off the boot. Tracy, he's got 4 for the afternoon. And they've come in a rush too, 3 in the last term. And Fremantle looking very confident. 37 points now, the advantage.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there, weren't they, Bally? A couple of real attempts here to try and get that ball locked up. I think what the umpire would say in his defence there was it was knocked out in the tackle by Baker, but you've got to reward the good tackles, especially when there hasn't been that many of them. But Tracy, geez, he just continues to present, jumps at the footy.
Rookie pickup for Freo. He's a real
He's been a good selection, hasn't he?
Yep.
An absolute bull who just creates a contest for you, and that's what you want from your big key forwards, especially as a smaller player. You want your big guys just launching at the footy and trying to create those soft drops.
All of a sudden, he's kicked 18 goals this year.
Oh, yeah, that's impressive.
21 years of age. There's been a few real steals in the rookie draft over the years. And the Dockers might have found another one. Jackson takes it out of the ruck. Handball away to Fife. Handball to Clark, nearly run down. And onto a Thompson Dow for Richmond. Handball to Short, who gives it off by hand to Nankervis. High free kick. Wants to give it off to a teammate running by, and Sonsi delivers to Baker. Attacking point of the square. Baker will look out towards half forward, and Pickett marks 49 metres out. 4 goals, a new career high for Tracy. First time he's kicked 4 in an AFL game. Alan Pickett wide out, the right half forward, giving it to Babe Ruth. Points on goal. From South Fremantle in the WAFL, right underneath Freo's nose. He kicks on goal a little short and knocked through for a minor score. Dockers by 36 points, 13 and a half minutes into the fourth. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Coming up, the Western Bulldogs and Hawthorn. That's still to come.
Walker takes it from the kick from Ryan. Deep inside his defensive 50. Game slowing a little bit. Gets around the man on the mark. Then a long kick towards the wing. Vlosten leads all comers and takes a strong mark despite some pretty big heat from Banfield on his tail. So Loston can drive the Tigers back inside attacking 50. Kick is okay. It almost reached... Campbell there on the bounce, and now a chance here for Freo. Short kick out, Broad dropped it. Allowed Walker to get onto it. Short kick is good too to Frederick, who takes it in the sun underneath the Shane stand.
And delivers it to Walters, who wants to come infield quickly for Freo towards Fife. Good overhead as always. He takes the mark. Attacking point of the square. Kicks laterally. H takes it. H stabs it inside 50 for Simpson. Low down. Not paid the mark on the half volley. It was close to being a mark. The umpire said play on. Ball up to come. 48 metres out from goal. Is it a mark, gents?
No, I think as he rolled over, he might have just put it on the turf.
Jackson down to O'Meara for the Dockers. Really short kick onto the chest of Bailey Banfield. It was the match winner with 3 goals last week and important goals. He's got the set shot here. Slight angle to the left, 45 out.
Good composure by Jager O'Meara just through the stoppage there. Great tap. Didn't blaze away, just had the time just to spot up Banfield. Spoke about him kicking those clutch goals last weekend. Really dangerous forward, always gets on the scoreboard.
And a quiet day today, but looking to add a goal to his column. He drives it through. Fremantle out by 42 points. A nice victory in the Sunday sun at the MCG. 12-12-84 plays 5-12-42. Quarter hour mark of the final term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. And they'll improve their record to 5-3. Brett Delidio and Luke Ball.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to kick away a bit, isn't it? They've still got a bit to work on, haven't they, in terms of their connection with their forward line. Freo, it's still been pretty hard. Yaka, laborious at times. I mean, they've had loose numbers everywhere there. And the one prior to that should have been an easy kick over the top to a loose player, but
had 18 marks inside 50.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, and that's Richmond's defence has really broken down throughout the course of the day. But
and they've left a few on the table, Bully.
They have. Yeah, so that's a work in progress. Yeah, but so Justin Longrow would be keen for them to play out the game here and keep trying to hit the scoreboard.
In the middle, Dow tries to break free, couldn't do so. Wrapped up, strong tackle by Brayshaw. Another stoppage. Margin is 42 points. Knocked down Bolton. Had to turn tackler there in the end. Now Johnson rakes it in underneath. Umpire says he'll have it again. Third ball up in a row. Fremantle's side of the centre circles here. Knocking it down, Tracy, on that occasion. And again, going nowhere. Wrapping themselves up. So we're going to have another stoppage. Fourth time lucky. Brayshaw comes through at pace. Now Baker. There's an out-of-zone free kick, and it is going the way of the Tigers. So Bolton takes a couple of hand passes, works the 1-2. How about this for a highlight late in the game? He misses to the left-hand side. One behind. 17 minutes played, fourth term. It's the Dockers by 41.
Shout out to Patrick and Kathy, Dockers members on tour, listening from Milford Sound in New Zealand. There's Luke Ryan with the kick in to the left half back. Pearce can't mark. O'Meara's there. Gathers the footy. Handball away to Johnson. Back inside defensive 50. Away to Walker. Kicks off a step. A high ball up towards the wing. Dropping it there. Under pressure, Marlon Pickett. Allows in O'Meara. He picks it up. Tackled quickly. And a ball up between wing and half forward. Richmond past Players Day. Brett Delidio with us. Back to Punt Road after this. Who are you looking forward to catching up with?
Well, a few of the old boys, and the ones that I haven't seen for a long time. I was having a good chat to Greg Tivendale earlier in the day. We play AFL 9s against each other, would you believe? Down there at East Malvern.
O'Meara sees it out for a boundary throw-in. Not particularly well disguised. He's been pinged. He can't believe it. Short kick back is okay by Banks. He finds Short behind centre wing. Short rewards the run there of Miller, or Young rather, who wanted to go straight away. In fact, he goes to centre half back instead. Taken by Brown. Short kick is good. That was a bit of a rifle. Lovely possession off to Sonzi inside 50. No mark taken. At ground level, hand pass almost comes the way there of McIntosh, who slides in after it. Fremantle getting numbers back here over the top of the footy. The coming tackler is Lafau. Try to get out of that one. Did his best to hold things up, and we'll have a stoppage. 20 out directly in front for the Tigers.
32,000 and change in attendance here at the MCG. At the Lydio Luke ball. Ben Cameron, Andrew Mays and Ian Cohen. Ball up, full forward for Richmond. Kelty Lafau in a scrum appropriately. Rugby league background and coming across to Australian rules football and all the way to the AFL. Tracy doing the ruck work, able to slap it down quickly. Big scrum of players, spits out to Banfield. Kick smothered. Good defensive effort down there by Ryan Mansell, who actually went to primary school with Ariane Titmus down in Tasmania. Olympic year lids. Much of an Olympic view of Borlean lids.
Absolutely. Can't wait. It's not far off, is it?
Where is it?
Paris.
Toss back into play. Pickett having a run in the ruck. He's at the back of that contest. Sharking at Sarong. Just squeezed the kick out of there. Short hand pass. Missed the target. Chance for Johnson. Back to Sarong, who kicks it low and hard. Fist comes the way there of Young, although he was beaten to the ball in the end by Brown, who hand passes inboard almost to Martin. Found its way there in the end. Martin then off the side of his boot. Will it land inside? Not quite. And it's out of bounds on the full. Aish with the free kick for the Dockers. Left half back.
Freo by 41. No late changes for the Dogs and the Hawks. The subs, Oscar Baker for the Dogs and Wizard Watson, your man Maisie for Hawthorn. Draper in the back pocket, kicking out towards the wing for the Dockers, onto the chest of Sharp. Sharp goes back to the half-back flank and back to Draper. Draper will stab it short back to Sharp. So those two just waxing and padding a few stats late on in this game. 21 minutes into the fourth. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. 2 further games to come on this Sunday. Dogs and the Hawks, and then the Q clash up at the Gabba.
That'll be a ripper.
And Brisbane start to get their season back on track. A long kick by Walker up to the wing off the hands of Tracy. Brayshaw gathers it. Handball back for Tracy. Too hot. So Wrong picks it up, shovels it out towards Broad. Richmond go forward now. Brown, forward handball. Away to Ralph Smith. Mullet flowing. Looking inside 50. Lafau overshoots him. At the back, Pearce for the Dockers. Gathers at fullback.
Has time and he picks Clark in the left back pocket. He goes straight away as well. Banfield takes the mark. Just short of centre wing. And Rioli, lovely spoil. He was a bit unlucky there because it bounced straight to Chapman. Back to Banfield. That left foot rifled one in through the hands of Young and out for a boundary throw in. Just forward of centre wing.
Yeah, the good kickers coming through. Benny, no doubt. I appreciate your humility in not reading out the ball in my name a few times. Thanks, Mum.
Brady in Miling says, I'm picking patty melons out of my paddock for a melon soup. It makes it taste wonderful. Go Freo. I must admit, I don't know what that is.
Toss back into play.
I can't speak from experience on that either. Patty melon soup.
Clearance comes the way of Ryan.
Ball
Ryan
is not
short
the way.
Sharp. Sharp kick over the top.
So in the Rock Melon family, isn't it? I'm thinking sort of cantaloupe. She wouldn't be putting that in a soup, I wouldn't have thought.
No. Brayshaw, inboard. Good kick to Aish, who's 65 from goal.
Send in the recipe.
Aish, short pass. Well, it was all Tigers there. Intercepted easily. Now a chance for them to run off half-back. Brown short kick is okay to Pickett. His hand pass was a little too hot for Dan Rioli. Recovered beautifully, got to his feet, looking for a hand pass. He couldn't find a way out, and eventually he was tackled. Ball spills free. He went back for seconds there, Brayshaw. Then a dusty fend on Fife, but he dropped the footy. Fife, a hand pass to Frederick. This is all getting very messy late in the game. Fife battles again. Brown intercepted. Hand pass to Martin. Martin to Mansell, who kicks it to Baker all the way along the ground to Pickett. And now to McIntosh. He hits him on the chest. That was pretty ugly footy.
Well, that's a caller's nightmare, I would have thought, Maisie. Yeah, we're earning your money today, especially in this last quarter. Yeah, I think both coaches will probably be okay for the bell to ring now. No more injury or anything like that. Just looking at Nat Fife. It's been a nice little training run for him this 30 minutes. A bit sloppy there with a handball, though, which directly led to the turnover that his opposition, or the sub, Camden McIntosh, could get himself a late goal.
In he comes, 35 out, strikes that one nicely. So Richmond get a late one. Their 6th of the afternoon. 6 goals, 13-49 to the Dockers, 12-12-84. We've played 24 minutes in this final term. You're listening to Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, he's always been a pretty reliable set shot kick, Camden McIntosh. I think we've just seen Paddy Mellon's a small marsupial. No, I don't think they are.
They're an invasive weed, I read.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a small marsupial. Someone's texted. But, I've never heard of him being put in a soup. But thank God for a little goal there for the Tigers. Clean up that little bit of messy play. Dan Rioli was doing his best to give us something to talk about. Running in and out of traffic, but just couldn't keep his feet. Cleaned up in the end. Camden McIntosh knocking it through.
We'll give a shout out to Benny and Gawler in South Australia. G'day, lads. Great call. 2 hours into my 3-hour, 30-kilometre run. Oh, what a way to spend your Sunday afternoon. Fremantle by 35 points here at the G. There is a question which I want to get through. I'll get you to answer, Lids, as a former Richmond champion. In the middle, Sarong with the footy, met by Nankervis. Oh, strong tackle, dumps him to ground, and a dumping free kick. He was outmatched against a heavyweight there, Sarong. The kick goes inside 50. Walters looking to swoop onto it. Bundled out of the way. Picking it up, Young. He snaps the goal. Puts a little cherry on top of his day. Fremantle with their 13th major, 13-12-90. Richmond 6-13-49. They lead by 41 points, 25 minutes into the fourth.
I think Big Nank was happy to give away a free kick there. He had Sarong cold, Caleb Sarong. You don't need that at the 26-minute mark of the last quarter when you're 7 goals up. He's run into a brick wall. He got up pretty quick. That's Big Nank at his best. But, well done, Hayden Young. He's been super. He'll certainly be a big feature in the votes. He sneaks forward here and gets some reward on the scoreboard as well to round off what's been a pretty good day for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Neat little right foot snap. Back in the middle. Nankervis just punches it away from the immediate area. Fife onto it. Through one tackle. Hand pass then to Brayshaw, who snaps towards the point of 50. It bounced straight to Walters, who was all on his own. He gets to 40. Not sure if that was a shot or a pass. It was halfway in the middle. No mark taken here for the Tigers. And then applying some good pressure is Tracy. They're going nowhere. It'll be a stoppage. Left forward pocket for the Dockers.
It was neither, Maisie. It was a shank.
He's still in their best team, Michael Walters, Liz. It's a bit of a watch for mine.
Yeah, watch for me too.
Lost a bit of his sort of ping.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been not judging him on today's performance. Obviously, it's been a funny old game. But when you look at what Frederick can do compared to what he brings to the team, it's just an interesting one.
Nankervis and Short over the top of it. They're both holding it in. Brayshaw appealing for holding the ball, and then big tackle by Emmett.
Yeah, I like Emmett. He's got some real power, and like what Simpson's coming to the team. Love what Frederick brings, so it's going to have to work pretty hard, fight pretty hard, Sonny Walters, I think, to keep that spot.
Another stoppage, left forward pocket. Brayshaw happy enough to see it over the boundary line and out for a ball in. Left forward pocket here. The Dockers heading towards another victory this afternoon. 13-12-90, leading the Tigers 6-13-49.
Bit of a question about whether Richmond are escaping the blowtorch. We'll put that to Brett Delidio post-game. Jackson taps it to the back.
Oh, it's on.
Taken high. And
Nathan
Ward.
Yeah.
And Nat Fife getting into it. Off the ball. Lost his headband in amongst all of that.
Broad going back to him too.
Broad's got a bit to say. He's not too happy with Nat Fife. And from the ball up at half forward, Nat Fife just moves on. He's looking back in the Broad direction, taking out the mouth guard to...
He's really not happy with him. He's still going.
Vocalise. They've both got their mouth guards out so they can speak properly. Ball up. And Curvis slaps it down. Young bursting through on the non-preferred right.
No,
that is pure class.
Wow.
Young talent time at the MCG. Fremantle out by 47 points. 14-12-96, plays 6-13-49, 29 minutes into the fourth. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, spot on, Morley. Absolute star. That ability to get out of traffic, blind turn, and then to finish that on your non-preferred. That's just impressive, isn't it? You don't often see, you see a lot of right footers who are pretty capable going onto their left. You don't often see a lot of left footers going the other side. Nathan Brown, probably one that comes to mind, an ex-teammate of mine who was reasonably comfortable going onto his right boot, but yeah, geez, that's class finish. We've really seen the emergence of a young player here this year, I think. Not just today, this year.
It stood out today, hasn't it? Because of the scrappy nature of the game. Every time he and largely Sarong, who's had another really good day as well, when they've got it, it's really stood out today.
Coming back the other way again, Fremantle out of the middle. Brayshaw drives it inside, attacking 50 over a couple of heads at ground level. Really clean was Sarong, couldn't get back onto it. Now a chance for Broad. The hand pass is okay to Brown, who goes on the outside of his right boot. Just running under it at the last moment was Pickett. He's trying to turn tackler on O'Meara. Lightning hands inboard. It was good to Banfield. Great chase by Ralph Smith. Not rewarded. Umpire said play on. Richmond do have numbers at ground level though. Onto it is Dan Rioli. Hand pass came out wide, but a bounce away of Fife. Now back to Banfield by hand. Scrappy kick out wide. It bounces for Sarong. Hand pass inboard. Back to the running Banfield. He's got players queuing up inboard. Off to Brayshaw, who has a shot for goal. And it's punched through for one behind. And it is on again. Amos. Miller. I think it was Miller there.
Looking up. We're away here.
It's just getting a bit heated at the end of this one.
Yeah. Boys, there's 5 seconds to go.
Yeah, relax.
Look at this.
There's 2 different scrimmages now.
Mark Murphy taught us last week, when you go to ground, you get fined for wrestling.
A free kick's been given.
Amos is
going to get a gift. Really strange, isn't it? Still on. Walters.
Is that Grimes and Walters going back at it?
Yeah, he's been at him all day, hasn't he? Amos gets a gift here.
Crowd not happy with that.
So Amos kicks another one. It's now 7 goals in this final term for Fremantle. They've really come home strong. 15-13, 103 to 6-13-49. So he's paid the behind there, the umpire, for the rush behind. Then Amos subsequently with the free kick afterwards.
Only the second time this year Fremantle have broken 100.
Yeah, right. There you go. I think that free kick was, well, they were wrestling, but Amos was he was being checked and not allowed to run, so he's tried to get his arms around Miller. Miller's a bit bigger and a bit stronger, I think, than young Amos. We ended up just wrestling to the ground. I didn't see what the free kick was for, though, in the end.
Bit of frustration, isn't there, on the Richmond team?
Restart in the middle. Jackson takes it out of the ruck. Fremantle do the business at the MCG. A resounding 54-point win. Their biggest over the Tigers since 2002. So the Fremantle Dockers improved to 5-3 on the season. As I said, their biggest win over the Tigers since 2002. Richmond 1-7 on their past Players' Day. 15-13, 103 to 6-13-49. The Dockers win over Richmond. So the goal kickers, Josh Tracy finishes up with 4. 2 to Hayden Young, who had himself a day. Jai Amos with a couple. Sean Darcy with 2. And then singles to Walters, to Frederick, to Banfield and to Johnson for Richmond. It was just the 6 majors over the course of the afternoon. So Lafau with a couple. And then singles to Ralph Smith, to Sonzi, to Mansell and to McIntosh. There was some fire in it late, but Fremantle, a big win by 54 points over the Tigers. Brett Delidio, former Richmond champion, and Luke Ball, the former Pie and Saint, to tell us how it happened.
Well, we commented throughout the game, didn't we, Lids, that it wasn't that easy on the eye. I mean, in the end, you look at the scoreboard and they eclipsed 100 points, so that's pleasing. They still got a bit of work to do on their offense, the Dockers, we know that, but they set the game up early just by weight of possession, really, didn't they? They were able to keep the ball off Richmond and really stretch their defence. And really, that first quarter, they probably could have even been further ahead. They had, they were really well served around the contest. I mean, Sarong and Young in particular around the clearances continue on their merry way. They dominated around there, and really, for that sort of 10-15 minute period in the third quarter where the Tigers just showed a bit of dare and a bit of fight and put a couple of goals on in a row and thought maybe we might be able to have ourselves a contest here. They snuffed that out pretty quick, and Luke Ryan was a big reason behind that. He took a couple of marks there where
15 of them.
Yeah, 15 total, but a couple of important ones where Richmond had a little bit of momentum and snuffed out any chance. And then the last quarter, it was really a bit of a procession as the game opened up. And Freo, the much better team. And as you said, Ben, they come, they get the points. They probably head straight to the airport now. No injuries, it seems. Pretty happy. They get themselves back in the 8.
Well, just that little nick in the car for Sean Darcy.
Okay.
Half tight.
I didn't see any ice on it.
I think he'd be okay. I think they had the luxury of being able to sub him off. But
look, if I got subbed out of a game, I'd be putting ice on something.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make it not look like a tactical decision.
Yeah, just to say, mate, you weren't good enough today. You're off.
You've had a quiet day. Get off. 5-3 on the season. It does improve Fremantle's standings, and gee, they've had some bad losses in amongst all of that. I mean, the two close games they blew against Carlton and Port Adelaide, where they led late in both of those, and then a very disappointing derby loss, as they call it out west, on a derby to the West Coast Eagles. But back-to-back wins after 3 straight to start their season gets them back on track. I'm sure we'll revisit this a lot as we move through, and we'll speak about the Dockers and Hayden Young and what their midfield looked like. But there was a text, Lids, about whether Richmond are escaping the blowtorch for just how bad they've been this year.
No, I don't think so. They just haven't got the cattle. I think that's the thing. You can't hang aside that are missing their spine. And a lot of games experience as well. They're not performing as well as they would like, but it makes it very hard when you've got a team missing. Lynch, Hopper, Taranto, Prestia.
Yeah, and I think generally their effort's been pretty good. They've had a real crack. They've been in most games. Today's a bit of an outlier, perhaps, but they you can see what they're trying to do. As you said, they're just not getting enough out of their bottom 6, 7, or 8 players. And in this
they're just not ready.
Yeah, that's right. In this competition, I mean, that's enough, isn't it, to create the gap between your bottom teams and your top teams. And there's no quick fix for that. You've just got to do your time. I think the supporters understand that. They've had such a great period, haven't they? So they understand that. With that always comes a little period of regeneration, and it's interesting to see. I mean, I thought late in that game, and we saw it. Nankervis lash out a little bit in the end. Baker, there is some frustration. Grimes, you spoke about. Floston and Broad even lashing out at the end there as well. So you can see the frustration in this senior group who have been used to such high standards for so long. But you just know that they have to. I mean, their role now has shifted a bit, hasn't it? They have to, like those before them did for them when they were coming through, they have to play that role and try and fast-track the development of these younger players.
I think the beauty of it is you see whether the kids are any good, but you're also getting games into them if they are good enough to then hang around and be a part of the next wave. So, it is disappointing. It's a tough grind, I think, more so for the supporters and the older players there that are wanting to see constant improvement, but continue on the merry way that they had of that little era that the boys were lucky enough to go through. So, yeah, it's a grind, but you just got to... Yes, Ben?
I just worry. I hope Adam Uze is not stuck in this graveyard shift turning over the list.
Yeah. No, it's not a turn. Well, I think that, the really, Geelong have shown, Sydney have shown, you don't have to bottom out. You can... whilst maintaining some senior players, and look, again, when you take Taranto and Hopper and Lynch and these players, they've got nothing ahead of the ball. They're playing a guy who's in his first year of footy as their key forward. They're having to rotate Martin and Bolton there when they need them around the ball. So they're plugging holes everywhere at the moment, which is a real challenge for Adam Uze. You feel for him a bit.
Let's go into the Fremantle rooms. Ian Cohen
Well, Ben, I can tell you that it's full of family and friends down here, which is often the case with travelling teams when they get a chance here at the MCG, but it is a very buoyant mood. Lots of chatter. As a matter of fact, the security staff had to work to bring the ribbons a little bit further forward because the crowd that's packed in here is very, very happy. You can hear them starting to put their hands together. Alex Pearce leads the team in. Nate Fife, of course, the super sub coming in second, and they will form up. But this really has helped, obviously, Freo in terms of setting up the season. We then get into the grind proper, but they will form up for the circle. Sean Darcy's made his way in. No ice bend to be seen from the man that was subbed off. And we're getting ready for the post-match song underneath here at the MCG. So all is in readiness. And they are bringing in... Here they go, the Dockers.
So the Freo Dockers down in the room, they're in the rooms. There was a text from Pete in Ballarat who says, hands down, the worst club song, even worse than West Coast.
Yeah.
It's not a great one, is it?
It's putrid.
No. My mum forced me to learn piano when I was a kid. Did it for 3 years, hated it. It's actually the tune of the old song of the old Volga Boatmen. That's the tune. Doon, 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 doon. It's not a great tune, is it? But they do
I
their
didn't really
best.
get much of it there from what you just did, but that's okay.
It's all right, Liz. This is from Steve.
Okay.
Gee, we can handle the rebuild, but it's the lack of free kicks that really irks. 8 free kicks for the day.
Yep.
Is that a record? So the Richmond fans throughout the day were not overly happy. It was 20-11, the free kicks in the end. The way of Fremantle. Did you?
I didn't. Yeah, they missed a couple, and Freo might have got a couple.
The ball. Yeah, a couple of holding the ball ones, and then those ones like that result in guaranteed goals, like the one at half time, the one on just about on full time.
Yeah.
They're the ones that stick in your mind probably more than anything else.
Yeah, the Thompson Dow one was a little heartbreaker on half time, wasn't it? Just putting the ball on the ground rather than returning it straight to big Sean Darcy, and a little gift of a goal. And there was a little bit of argy-bargy in this contest. Back to Fremantle. Bally, you made the comment throughout the game that you feel like they've got their midfield to set and forget. They've got Caleb Sarong, who was the best and fairest last year. They've got Andy Brayshaw, who won the AFL PA MVP a couple of years ago. And then they've added in Hayden Young, who's something a little bit different to that mix, a little bigger body and a beautiful user as well. Is that the midfield that can take them forward for the next decade?
Well, they'd be hoping so. And you obviously had Luke Jackson and then Sean Darcy. I think we haven't seen enough of that combination yet, but they're both under 25 too. So no doubt that's the plan, isn't it? And I think, you need more than 3. We know that. The best teams have almost like an A and an A1 team to go through there, so there's not much of a drop away, and I think they're looking at guys like Johnson, aren't they, who's a big body and a good size to go through there. I mean, O'Meara still plays a bit of a role. He's been pushed out onto the wing a bit more, but he's still a smart enough player to have an impact there. And
there was talk
Sharp's come across or come back from the Gold Coast. He's an elite runner, so they're starting to build a pretty formidable engine room, aren't they, through there, and the more and more they play together, I think you see now, that some of their clearance work, particularly when it's 4-on-4 at a centre bounce, is as good as there is in the competition. So, it's absolutely something that they can build on.
There's a little bit of talk as well as to whether Heath Chapman might become a wing or whether he can go on ball as well. So they are a very young Fremantle team, so it does feel like the build's been going on for a while, but I mean, even when they played the West Coast Eagles in the Derby, the age profile of both sides was almost identical. They're younger than you think, Fremantle, on the way through, and they've got 2 really young key forwards in Jai Amos and Josh Tracy.
And that's exciting, isn't it, too? I mean, that's you need looking at the spine, aren't you? And I thought Tracy kept going again today, didn't he? He's starting to really emerge. He clearly had a good pre-season. He looks a bit trimmer, a bit fitter, and he got to more and more contests today. And he's a beautiful kick with the footy too. He doesn't need too many looks, does he, to hit the scoreboard. So yeah, him and Amos is absolutely something that they can build around. Really like Frederick at ground level. What he brings to the team, and I like what Emmett's bringing to the team as well, in terms of his intensity and his hardness forward of the ball. So you can see the bones there. They're starting to build a pretty strong team.
It's been like the Bermuda Triangle. Fremantle for key forwards. You've had to be a Hall of Famer in Matthew Pavlich to really succeed as a key forward down there, but Tracy and Amos looking like they might defy that. A reminder that coming up in about 9 minutes, we will send you to the Western Bulldogs and Hawthorn, Corbin Middlemass to head up the call. The SMS has been going into overdrive about the Paddy Melons.
Oh, great.
I think I've been had. I think they are genuinely a weed, and no one was putting them in their soup. So I think I've been done in on the SMS line, and that's been suggested by a few people. So, look, it says I'm sad for Richmond, but I'm sadder for the Patamelons. So I'm going to have to go home and learn about... So a little wallaby is called a patamelon, I think.
All right.
But there is a weed called a paddy melon as well.
There is.
Which is golf ball size lids.
Green. Yeah. A little bit spiky, I think.
Is it edible or no?
I've never eaten it. But...
Yeah, okay. Don't be putting it in your soup. Don't take my advice on the back of that. Are we just about ready for the votes? Who's taking the responsibility today?
Joint responsibility today, but I think we sort of pretty well agreed on these three, and maybe the order you could toss them around a bit. But when you consider the game was pretty well out of reach by 3/4 time, Richmond had a good little patch in the third quarter, and I think that sort of features in the votes too. But we'll start with one. We'll give one to Caleb Sarong. He set a pretty high bar now, hasn't he? I thought he was terrific. Some of his hands and his clearance work are as good as any in the competition. He ends up with 38. He must have a big tank too, because he just keeps working and working, contest to contest.
11 score involvements.
5 clearances. I thought he would have had more than that. 7 inside.
Wasn't a big clearance game though, was it?
That's a very good point. Yeah, but he has such an impact around there. But yeah, he was great. 2 to Luke Ryan, who the stats blew out for him. He had 31 kicks. Now Richmond
he had 30 of his own.
Richmond kicked 13 points, and he takes most of the kicking.
9,
so you can put a bit of an asterisk on there. But he took 15 marks. Just reads the ball so well, and a couple of those when Richmond were coming. So 2 to Ryan and 3 to Hayden Young, who had 30 possessions. It was more the impact with those possessions. 11 score involvements and 2 goals, Hayden Young.
Yep, those are good votes. I would have had Michael Frederick in there. Let's go downstairs and see who Ian Cohen has got with him.
Well, I've got Michael Frederick with him, so there you go. But, Michael, thanks for joining us on ABC Sport. First up, great win, obviously, for the Dockers here at the G.
Yeah, it's always nice to come and play at the G. We haven't played here too often. I think that was my 5th game, but we never take it for granted. But, yeah, always nice to walk off the field with the 4 points here.
Well, you had the laser levelled and ready to go for that goal in the third. You were flying, and I think Ben said you were fleet of foot and ready to go.
Yeah, one of our things was, as one of the forwards playing high up at the stoppage, just to reset as they either probably sit back or they get good roll around. So the main thing was equalising ahead of the ball and try and get involved in transition as well. So I guess that's how, as our forward line coach JT likes to call it, getting a lick of the ice cream.
Well, you certainly did that upstairs. Brett Delidio and Luke Ball.
Oh, well done, Michael. I think you're becoming a real barometer for the team. We saw you last week have such an impact in that win, and again today. And we were just talking before you jumped on. I mean, it's a young and emerging forward line, isn't it? Great to see Big Tracy get on the end of a few today, and Amos as well. You must be pretty excited being part of that forward group.
Yeah, it's always exciting coming into pre-season, working with the new boys and younger guys. But yeah, JT, I got the pleasure of living with him, and he's come a long way in the last 2 years. Like he's put in a mountain of work, and I guess it's kind of showing this year now, and it's not just kind of happened overnight, but it's pleasing to see. And then even guys like Tommy Emmett getting an opportunity, bringing a lot of pressure. There's times where, as forwards, you can get frustrated not getting involved in offence, but as a forward line, we value how we play without the footy, whether it's pressure and trying to set up and things like that. And I think Cooper, Tommy, myself, Sonny Waltz can bring that to the team, and yeah, we've done that on a consistent basis. But obviously, the last month at times hasn't gone the way we've wanted it to. But it's nice to get 2 wins in a row.
Just on JT, I wasn't aware that you live with him. I think I read today that he's really stepped it up in terms of his professionalism with his diet. He looks like he's dropped a few kilos. Is that as a result of what you've been cooking up in the kitchen. Mike, can you take some credit for that?
I don't think I can take credit for that. His partner, Nikki Miller, she's awesome. She looks after us. And, yeah, I guess she keeps him in good nick. And, yeah, so a lot of that has gone a long way, which is good. It's funny, a couple of years ago, JT and I, on one of our travel trips, we got home pretty late and went to Macca's, and JL was actually in the drive-thru, and then there's another time where JG, our forwards coach, was seen us drive in there as well after one game. So I don't think we've been back there since. So yeah, I guess that's helped.
You've got to know where the coaches live to just avoid those fast food chains nearby. Your role, we love it when you get the footy and we get excited and call you Fast Freddy and you take the game on. It's not always what we see from Fremantle. What instructions do you receive from the coaches about what they want you to do when you get the footy? The main thing as a high forward line, as Smalls, is just to stay connected in defensive transition. And guys like, obviously Daniel Rioli played forward this week, but he got right up the ground, and more so just seeing those defensive transitions out as Smalls. And then if we defend well and turn it over in good spots, we generally get good looks in offence. So I think it's just being honest with our defence, and we get good looks going the other way. But yeah, I guess it's always nice getting the ball in your hands. Sometimes, obviously, no 2 weeks are ever the same. It's more, I think the mental side of things, as a forward line group, we're pretty connected, and that's one of our goals, wanting to be the most connected group in the AFL. And some weeks it won't go our way, but as long as we're talking to each other and helping each other out and doing it together, you play with a bit of fun, and that's what it felt like out there today and last week. You make coming to the footy fun, Michael. It's great to watch you play. We love it when you put it under the arm and go for a run. Appreciate your time. Congratulations, and keep JT in order at home. No worries. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. Appreciate it. There is Michael
Very
Frederick.
impressive. I never did speak before. How good was that?
That was excellent.
Fantastic.
Good yarn. Do you ever get
really
caught
good
out maybe just going for a drink or having something to eat you shouldn't when the coaches were there?
Well, it's interesting. I wonder who spoke first, or whether JL thought he'd been caught out as well, and they looked at each other at training the next day.
Just a wink and a nod.
Yeah, exactly. I won't say anything if you don't say anything.
That's fantastic. Good on Michael Frederick.
He's
Good
a beauty.
fun.
Yeah.
Here on ABC Sport. Thank you to a lot of you throughout the afternoon. They've provided good fun. I can't believe how much interest there is around the Patamelons, etc. So many texts. Shout out to Steve in Junee as well. He said, enjoying the call, fellas. Currently on the tractor feeding my cattle. Ben Realman play piano, lean into it. That's from Steve. So
I wish
thank
I could.
you for that.
Yeah,
I still can't. Lids, enjoy your past Players Day.
Look forward
Get
to it.
down there and see your old mates. Borley, enjoy your
Good call,
weekend.
Ben. Well done.
Turn around the Disco Wolves if you can. Get them going.
Tough L today, but we'll get back on track.
Maisie, always a treat to see you. Thanks to Stu Hollywood Baker, who's with us. Ian Cohen, the Cozer downstairs, doing a great job. We're in the presence of royalty here at the ABC today too, the great Karen Ty in the box to see us. I know a lot of you will be glad to hear that Karen was here watching on with all of us on ABC Sport. Still 2 full games to come here on this Sunday. So the Q Clash later tonight, but next we are sending you to Docklands. Corbin Middlemass heading up the call for the match between Hawthorn and the Western Bulldogs. Here at the MCG, it was the Fremantle Dockers winning by 54 points. 15-13, 103 over Richmond. 6-13-49. Josh Tracy kicking 4 goals in the win, while Hayden Young was dominant for the Dockers, and he kicked a couple. Jai Amos with 2. The votes: Caleb Sarong with 1, Luke Ryan with 2, Hayden Young with 3. Mitch Turner, excellent, back in the studio as always for us on this Sunday afternoon. It's been Sunday footy on ABC Sport, but it doesn't stop. 2 games to come. Over to the Hawks and the Dogs, Corbin Middlemass and the team next. Goodbye. Time to steady and pull the trigger.
Tackle your week with the ABC AFL Daily Podcast. Join myself, Catherine Murphy, AFL legend Paul Roos, and expert panellists every day to get the latest news, game analysis, and insights straight from the field.
The way the rules are now, you're not allowed to brace yourself and hit someone in the head in a marking contest.
Tune in to stay ahead of the game and get your daily dose of footy fever. Find the ABC AFL Daily Podcast on the ABC Listen app.